Live from Tad Gormley Stadium in New Orleans, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you Louisiana High School football. Tonight, it's the 104th meeting of the longest continuous football rivalry in Louisiana as the Jesuit Blue Jays take on the Holy Cross Tigers. Hello, everybody. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, and our terrific Crescent City Sports crew. And we are here for a good one. Normally, the word rivalry is thrown around sometimes just a little too loosely, but when Holy Cross and Jesuit get together, not so. This is a rivalry. This one means a lot. They have met for 102 years, and Wade, you and I have seen some crazy and been part of some absolute madness that goes on when these two teams meet.
Well, yes. As a player and as a coach, I've been involved in it in a long time, and it's one of the great rivalries, obviously in the United States, but in the city of New Orleans, it is outstanding. So many alumni are tuning in tonight. Hello to all alumni all over the world that are listening to our broadcast for the Holy Cross as well as Jesuit, and it means so much to so many. And I say that every year, and I truly believe that, and it's special to be a part of this rivalry.
As we look at the standings, it means a lot to Holy Cross and Jesuit, both trying to get back and just turn things around for Jesuit. For Holy Cross, hey, there's a lot on the line. They could be working toward a first-round bye in the playoffs.
Well, absolutely. You know, one of the things is finally when this whole playoff picture has cleared up the past couple of weeks ago with the LHSA, you know, Holy Cross is sitting here with a chance to have a first-round bye in the playoffs, right? So, you know, this not only is a chance to stay in the race to win the Catholic League, but they're also fighting hard for that playoff spot.
And, you know,
and that bye.
Yeah, and look, Jesuit started the season with 4 teams that made the finals last year in state playoffs, so it's been a brutal schedule for them, and they just want to get back on track. As we take a look at this series and the series history, it's something very, very special because you have to go all the way back 102 years. 1921 is when this thing started, and they have met continuously since then. Jesuit leads the series, 61 victories, 40 losses. There was a tie. 1937 game was ruled no contest. They played twice in 51 and 63. The 63 year was they played twice because they met in the state championship game at Tulane Stadium. Holy Cross won both games that season. Last season, Jesuit, hey, they hold on against a furious Holy Cross rivalry. They win 16-12, and that was their 5th straight win in the series. No team in 90 years has won 6 in a row.
Yeah, it's hard to put back to back to back. I put a few back to back a couple of times, and I know how hard that was. And you know, talking to, you know, the coaches tonight, Scott Wadney and Ron Manali, they know how hard it is to put those back to back to back wins together. And you know, so you know, Jesuit obviously is also. It means a lot to them from the playoff spectrum, right? They're looking for a home playoff spot, depending on, you know, how they finish out the year. So it's going to be extremely important as we look at the Division I select seedings here and power rankings.
Yes, and our power rankings are also brought to us by our partners over at Go Preps, and we take a look at that. Holy Cross right now 5th in the power rankings. Brother Martin with the big game tonight.
Right.
They're playing John Curtis, I believe, right?
Right. As everything has cleared up the past couple of weeks with the LHSAA, the top 24 teams qualify for the playoffs. The top 8 receive first-round byes, and that's what we've already said about Holy Cross. How not in, you know, it's the rivalry game, but also it's a huge important game from that standpoint. But look where Jesuit is down there at 15, right? 9 through 16 on the bracket get a first-round home game. You want a first-round home game if you can in the playoffs, and that means a lot to Jesuit. Struggling this year, so this game has a lot of implications as things move forward here in Week 9.
Yeah, and we said, once again, struggling because they opened up with Brother Martin, Ruston, Lafayette Christian, and John Curtis, 4 teams that were all in the finals of their state playoff brackets last year. So that was a tough way to open the season, and they've recovered well. They just got to put some things together, as does Holy Cross.
Absolutely. You know, Jesuits kind of, and if you talk to their coaches, they'll tell you they've been struggling offensive all year. 15.3 points per game, and they've been giving up a total of 24.6 points a game. So when you're giving up more than you're actually putting it in the end zone or through the uprights, you're going to have some problems.
Here come the Jesuit Blue Jays on the field. Jesuit is the visiting team tonight. Holy Cross is the home team. So Jesuit wearing the visiting colors, white headgear, white jerseys, and royal blue pants. Holy Cross, colors are blue and gold, but they're coming out with a little Notre Dame magic. So Notre Dame School, Holy Cross School, founded by the brothers and priest of Notre Dame and Holy Cross. So they'll do a bit of the Irish luck in green sometimes, and they have chose to go all green with the white headgear with the HC on the side of it and the cross and anchor for the Holy Cross Brotherhood on the other side, the helmet. Here come the Tigers. When you coached the Jesuit Blue Jays, you probably didn't have to do a whole lot extra to get the team fired up for this game, no matter what the records, right?
Well, kids are kids, right?
Right, yeah.
and when you're dealing with 14 through 18-year-old kids, you're different things motivate them. They are told all week how important this game is, the rivalry all the way back to 1921 when it started, and so on and so forth, right? And they get told that, but a lot of these kids, the rivalry starts because they played against each other on the playgrounds. They grew up in the same neighborhoods. Some of them live right next door to each other. Believe it or not, we've had brothers and everything in the different programs. So there are different reasons for this rivalry to a kid. So no, you didn't have to say a lot. A lot of it had a lot of internal, intrinsic motivation.
We will go down to the field for some of the pregame ceremony, including the invocation. This is by Father Doug Bush, Holy Cross class of 75, with our invocation.
Brothers and sisters, let us pray. Almighty God, we ask your blessing on this great American rivalry gained between Holy Cross and Jesuit. We ask you to bless these athletes, give them the courage and the fortitude to compete in a manner which by their words and actions is pleasing to you. Keep them safe from injury and harm. Let them enter into this competition in a spirit of sportsmanship and with a respect for each other and reward them for their perseverance. Father, we ask you to bless each one of us, the coaches, the officials, parents, and their families. Get us all under your protection of your Son, Jesus Christ, and help us be aware of his presence during this game. All this we ask in your mighty name, amen. St. Joseph, pray for us. St. Ignatius of Loyola, pray for us.
And that's the patron saints of both Holy Cross and Jesuit, St. Joseph, St. Ignatius of
Tonight
Loyola.
we recognize an alumnus of each school whose distinguished military service brought great honor to his country, his community, and his alma mater. As the colors are presented by the Jesuit High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC Color Guard, led by Lieutenant Colonel Zach Gary. Joining them at midfield are representatives of our two honorees, Colonel Harold L. Brandt from Holy Cross and Major Kevin Kaliva Jr. of Jesuit.
As part of the pregame festivities, distinguished military alumni, community service awards to seniors and football lettermen on both teams, the legends of the game on both teams, and the Scholar Athletes Awards were awarded. Our national anthem by the Holy Cross Band.
joined the U.S. Army in 1964 and was commissioned
They are
as
honoring
second lieutenant in 1965
distinguished
at the U.S.
military
Army
alumni
Field Artillery School at
from
Fort
both
Sill,
schools.
Oklahoma. As a
Major
first
Kevin
lieutenant,
Kaliba,
Harold was assigned
Jesuit,
to the elite
and
paratrooper
Colonel
brigade,
Harold Brent
became captain
of Holy Cross.
served as a company XO and company
Major Kevin
commander.
Kaliba,
His service
the class of
continued
2002, and Colonel Harold Brent from Holy Cross was the class of 1958. Major Kaliba began his military career in 2008 and has been deployed in support of combat in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Inherent Resolve, as well as deployments focused on Central and South America. His leadership skills began at Jesuit when he was the captain of the rugby team and a big brother. For Holy Cross, Colonel Harold Brent, a graduate of Texas A&M, went on to serve in Vietnam. After stepping away from active duty, he went on to serve another 40 years in the Texas National Guard, U.S. Army Reserves, and the Texas State Guard, achieving the rank of colonel. He helped train many of the Texas Guard troops who came to Louisiana in 2005 to assist in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Congratulations to the distinguished military alumni of both schools, Major Kevin Kaliba, class of 2002 from Jesuit, and from Holy Cross, Colonel Harold Brent, class of 1958. And for all military people watching anywhere around the world tonight, thank you for your service. I get choked up, man, I really do.
Well, it's
thank you so much for your service and what you do to protect the freedom of the United States of America.
No doubt, it always kind of gets you choked up, and I know
it does.
Having been down there in the sidelines and during this part of the pregame that goes on here during this rivalry series, you get to meet these two guys from each of the schools, and I've had a chance to meet many of them over the years, especially when I was coaching, and some outstanding military representation from both schools.
Yeah, it really is, and when you look at what they've given up and the sacrifices that they have made, these two gentlemen right here, again, Jesuit Major Kevin Kaliba, class of 2002 on your left, and Holy Cross Colonel Harold Brent, class of 1958. We're proud to have them here, very, very much so, and honor them. And again, wherever you might be watching tonight, around the world, thank you, military, thank you, servicemen, thank you, active and retired, for your service to our country. Well, Wade, this is the anticipation time. You're standing on the sideline. You're waiting for this big game to start. You're a player. You want to get out and hit somebody, and because of the rivalry and all of the pageantry and the festivities, you're just waiting. You just want to go out and hit. What was it like?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you don't have a few butterflies in any game that you're fixing to go into, I think you need to check yourself, right?
You bet.
So, there's always little butterflies going on, but that's before every game. And then once that first pop takes place from a player standpoint, you pretty well are over the first initial, I guess you would say, butterfly stage, right? From a coaching standpoint, you're just rolling through your mind, trying to go through checklist, right? And I know that's what both guys are doing right now, making sure, you see, like right now, they're both, they're counting to make sure they got 11 out there. I'm telling you, they're just looking up and they're counting real quick, and so just little things like that. But look, once it's cut loose, it's kind of like a ship sailing away from the dock. I mean, it's in the kids' hands. You can call the plays, you can, call the formations and call the blitzes or whatever it is you're going to call as a coach. Whether they're going to execute them or not is going to be depending on those kids that are out there. So
now Joseph Barber and Derek LaBeouf are back deep for the Jesuit Blue Jays. Noel Mora for the Holy Cross Tigers in their green, kicking to our right. Jesuit in white and blue. Noel Mora, very strong-legged, puts a lot of his kickoffs into the end zone, and this one is going to go deep, but it will carry into the end zone as Barber lets it float by him. So it is a touchback for Noel Mora, and Take a look at our Jesuit lineup, brought to you by Lamar Ford, as always, and it all starts with the quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to start with Bo Perez tonight. I mean, he's going to have to be able to run the ball, throw the ball. He's got to get him in good positions. He's got to keep within the sticks in order to be able to operate this Blue Jay offense.
First and 10 to the 20. Blue Jays will keep it on the ground on first down. And they'll try nothing fancy, just to test the middle of that offense. And it's Patrick Berrigan on the first carry. We'll take a look at the Holy Cross defense, brought to you again. Defensive starters brought to you by Lamar Ford.
Yeah, it starts with their linebackers, Jake Roberts and Tommy Ashby. Those guys are good football players. Jordan Johnson is always around the football. Those guys always need to make sure that they're tackling well tonight for this Holy Cross defense.
Empty backfield and a big shift over to the right side. Perez on a keeper, quarterback keeper all the way, and he'll just push forward, and he is very close to a first down. Looks like let's see where they mark it. He is going to be a yard short in that pile, so let's bring up third down and 1.
Yeah, this is what Bo Perez brings to the table. He's a big, strong kid. I've been down there on the field a few times and seen and followed him for the past couple of years, and he's a big guy. He dwarfs a lot of people. And, when he lowers that shoulders, he can run you over. So he's going to have a good night tonight. As I said, not only just throwing the football, he's got to be able to run the football and stay in the sticks with this offense.
Look, 6'5", 215. He's got the size, and he's stocky, and he comes at you like a fullback. Here it is with 1 yard to go for the first. He will hand it off, hit the backfield, and push back as he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and Holy Cross will hold as Berrigan is unable to get to the 30-yard line of the first down. Got about a half yard on that play. That brings up 4th and a half yard to go for a first down. Would they try it this early, deep in their own territory?
Well, they're at the stage of the game right now in week 9. They don't have a lot to lose, right? So, you're going to have to roll some dice here sooner or later in this late part of the season in order to keep your, that slot for the playoffs that you want in that power rating system.
Only got a half yard to go. They can also try a few tricky snap counts, see if they can pull Holy Cross offside. Perez gets under center. Here's the big push. Everybody stacks up, but the push goes forward for the first down, and Jesuit will retain possession of the football. Got a humongous push with people behind him, and a good push from the offensive line of Luke Underwood, Garrett Kelly, Spencer Wagaspack, Luke Cunningham, and Sam Macalusa.
Oh, there you go, the old tush push, Philadelphia push, what everybody's got their name for it now. It's the Blue Jay push, right? I mean, the bottom line is it's a quarterback sneak. When they've taken the rule out in the game of football where you now can aid the running back with the ball, that's how everybody is attacking the quarterback sneak now. And watch, people are going to be building off of that at all levels. Watch people pull out and throw footballs off of that when everybody runs their defense up in order to try to stack up against that tush push.
Oh, I like that. If you were coaching, you'd already have that one in the book. If you were still down there.
Believe it or not, I've had pencil and paper on that just a little bit.
He needed a half. He got 7. High snap. Perez pulls it down, hands it off. Not much on that one, but he did a great job of using his tall 6'5" frame and long reach to get up there and not let that ball get over his head.
You see, all year long they've had some of these issues, right? They get something going offensively, they move the sticks, and then all of a sudden they have a bad snap. Something happens, somebody moves, and you get a illegal procedure penalty or something like that takes place, and then it starts moving them back behind the chains. These are the things tonight that they've got to stay away from. You also watch them. They're using the clock, right? So automatically you see them trying to eliminate some of the snaps that powerful Holy Cross offense has.
A lot of shifting. See with who they can confuse in that process. Perez breaks one tackle in the backfield and just pushes forward up to about the 39-yard line for a gain of 2. That'll make it third down and 7. They get a long 7, almost 8.
Yeah, it looked like Jake Roberts had a shot at him in the backfield there. He wrapped up. It would have been a loss. Blitzed right through there in the open gap and just made a hit. Just couldn't wrap him up. That's kind of shows you the strength of Bo Perez.
Now, one thing with Holy Cross, they've got such an explosive offense. 2 or 3 of the opponents now have tried to play long, slow drives. keep that ball away. And that's, I think, what the Jays are trying to do now. They're going to put it in the air for the first time. And this one, he had a man but couldn't reach him. Just missed Calvin McGee. McGee was open, but Perez couldn't get the ball to him.
Yeah, I love the call.
Yeah.
It's all play action. It's not RPO. They fake the quick screen to the receiver, and then they send what would be the blocker right down the seam in between the safeties. Safeties bite. They have them open. The ball's off target. I love the scheme, love the play, love the setup. Just not executed very well. It's going to force a punting situation for Jesuit.
Andrew Bourdelaw stands at his own 25. A little bit of a rush coming in, but Bourdelaw gets it off, and no fair catch called for. That was a dangerous grab of that football. Kobe Young got another 5 out of that, but wow, I thought sure he would call for a fair catch with the white jerseys barreling down on him, but that's gutsy, Wade.
You want to set me off?
Well, as a coach, you would not, let's put it this way, you'd be having a little not so polite conversation. The Holy Cross offense is brought to you, as always, by Lamarck Ford. Got to be a reason.
Hey, they got 3 great wide receivers on the field tonight for Holy Cross. Cross Johnson, Kobe Young, and Finn Martin. These guys can catch the ball, and they run. Finn Martin's a big asset on special teams.
Now they're going to take it around the right side with Keyron Smith. He's one of their top rushers, is the top rusher with 563 yards rushing on 86 attempts. That's his 87th attempt on the season. And he gets a bunch. He gets 9, make it 2nd down and 1 on this run by Keyron.
Yeah, it's student body right. Everybody's taking their nice zone steps out there, and he's getting outside on the edge. It kind of is equivalent to a nice toss sweep.
Cole Canatella at quarterback, number 4. As you watch, he is a 3rd-year starter. He'll throw the little swing pass left side to Young, and Young has the first down. And this, again, is a fast team. They're going to play some tempo. They're going to try to work you really quick.
Kenny, that was backwards look for that to set up something down the line, because Kobe Young is a really good athlete. I'm sure he can throw the football. You got to throw it backwards to throw it forwards.
Now they get it into Jesuit territory at the 46-yard line, 1st and 10. Cole Canatella, he'll throw it again using that little swing pass right there in the backfield, this time complete to Derek Johnson. There's 4 Johnsons on this team. Cohen Johnson, Claude Johnson, both running backs. Cross Johnson and Derek Johnson, who just caught that pass, for wide receivers. None are related.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah.
Anybody catching us late, just say, yep, we know all of those guys, and none of them are related, okay?
Well, there's a lot of Johnsons out there for sure, and that's Derek, the tight end, H-back, who kind of bubbled back and caught the bubble screen out there. He's a big kid, 6'4", 204, comes in with 288 yards and 3 touchdowns on the season. He's got a nice set of hands.
1st and 10 at the 35 of the Blue Jays. And they'll hand off to Keyron. And he will move around the left side, breaks a couple of tackles, still going. He's past the 20, and that's just some nifty running by Keyron Smith, the leading rusher for these Tigers, 5'9", a sophomore, 181 pounds, and he's a churner.
Well, Jesuit comes downhill. Here comes the safety right into the seam right there and just misses the tackle. You know, that's one of the things that they can't do is miss tackles if they're going to slow these guys down tonight. When they're there, you've got to do what you're supposed to do when you're there. Be in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, making tackles as a defense gives you success.
Everybody in that offensive backfield for the Tigers just loaded with speed and quickness. Keyron Smith takes again the handoff, pushes down near the 15, and he is stopped there.
Watch for Jesuit. Oh, here we go. Jesuit's defense.
Brought to you by Lamarck Ford.
There we go. I tell you what, 3 outstanding linebackers, Meyer, Roniger, and Schibler. Now, Schibler, we'll talk about later. I mean, he is one of the guys that is the academic guys in the game for Jesuit. And I tell you what, he's got a 36 on an ACT. I couldn't spell 36.
Listen, he's the leading tackler, and he'll be around the football wherever it's at. This time, Canatella will keep on the left side, and he's close to the 10, but that'll bring up for the Tigers 3rd down.
Yeah, look, credit Jesuit secondary that time. Everything's covered up. They're playing a nice 2 high, little cover 4, right? Everything's covered. Nowhere to go. Canatella just doesn't force the ball. Look, he's been around. We've been calling him, Kenny, for 3 and 4 years now, right? This cat can play. He knows what to do with the football. He's going to make a good decision. He makes a good decision right there, pulls the ball down, and picks up a couple yards, makes sure he doesn't try to force something down inside the red zone.
We got a Wildcat with Kobe Young taking the snap directly, and he is stopped. He was trying to make a little cut to the outside, and that's one of the great parts of his game is he's very quick on cuts and moves and jigs and jives and that kind of thing. But at that time, Jesuit had him.
Well, Kobe Young's a really good athlete. Georgia Tech knows that because he's already committed to him. They're down here taking guys from southeast Louisiana, right? Kobe Young, the senior, they'll play him at Wildcat. They're going to see him. We'll see him tonight at some free safety on defense and, of course, wide receiver.
4th down. They're going for it. 4th and 4. Canatella back in at quarterback. Canatella will just loft one into the end zone. It's a jump ball, and it is caught, and that is a touchdown. Derek Johnson on the catch using that big 6'4" frame, a junior, and when you get him involved in a jump ball type situation, he's got the frame to do it, to reach up.
Well, all those guys are really good at jump balls, and this time the guy that gets the jump ball is Derek Johnson. His 6'4", 204-pound frame, as you said, Kenny, he goes up and gets it over the top of Jody Barber out there, who's only 5'10", 175. They come down with another 50-50 ball. They've done a lot of that this year.
Flags go down on the point after attempt, so let's see. They blew that one dead. And
I think we got illegal substitution against the Tigers. So they're going to back up that PAT.
Again, Noel Mora, your kicker, very, very strong-legged, so the extra 5 isn't going to make much of a difference as far as distance would go, if the blocking is there. Luke Appy is the holder for Holy Cross. Placed down, kicked up, and it is no good. Don't see that often.
Well, that's important. That can be an important part. Let's remember that all the way back to 3-11 in the first quarter and missed PAT on an illegal participation penalty by the Tigers. Let's hope that doesn't come around to haunt them later in the game. But let's take a look. Kenny, they go for it on 4th down, right? Inside the red zone. Jesuit goes for it for 4th down inside their 25-yard line. So does this kind of give you an idea of how important it is to some of these coordinators out there that are going to be rolling some dice tonight?
Tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Ford, the #1 Ford dealer in the Metro New Orleans market. Must be a reason, says Ronnie Lamarck, Timmy Lamarck, Ronnie Jr., Dennis, the whole Lamarck family. And you'll find them there all the time, ready to talk to you, ready to have some fun, and ready to give you good service and a good deal.
And sell your car.
You better believe it.
That's the business, right?
That's the business.
I'm waiting for him to come out with another Christmas album. I really enjoyed his Christmas album from last year. I thought it was excellent. I'm waiting for another one this year.
And you get an album from Ronnie Lamarck when you buy a car there. They give you a Ronnie Lamarck album so you can pop it in as you're driving it home.
There you go.
That's
he's from your neck of the woods, isn't he?
Araby, not just a parish. There's the parish, and then there's Araby in the parish.
There you go.
Araby, Carolyn Park, St. Claude Heights. That's the old days, the old hoods of the parish. The Lamarcks were Araby, Neely Street.
Back in the days that it wasn't that far to get over to Holy Cross.
That's right. Hop, skip, and a jump. Ronnie'd get mad at you. He chased a lot of people there or back, one of the two, and a lot of people increased their speed, got a lot faster that way, too, because you didn't want him to catch you.
There you go.
One of the toughest guys and toughest athletes, but nicest guys that come out of the parish. So Holy Cross will kick it off after missing the extra point. You're right, Wade, we're going to have to see if that plays any part. You wouldn't have think that little 5 yards would have made a difference, but it did. Deep kick will be taken at the goal line. Barber will return, breaks a tackle. Barber's got room. Barber runs into traffic and gets it past the 30-yard line on a nice 31-yard return by Jody Barber.
Yeah, nice. The ball did not break the line of the goal line, so he was able to step forward, catch it. Nice blocking by the guys in the white jerseys. He runs through a tackle right there. Jesuits in nice business here with great field position for their second drive.
Yeah, this is only their second possession with the football. Both of these teams have eaten up just about 9 minutes on the clock with their first 2 possessions. Bo Perez, he'll fake it, he'll keep it, and boy, Perez is not afraid to just bang into the line and use the power he has in that big, gigantic frame. 6'5", 215, probably about 220 now. He put on a little bit of weight.
Well, that was 98. Cole Todd, that time a sophomore defensive lineman from Holy Cross, getting off the block and making the tackle on Bo Perez.
This time, Perez with 1 protector, 2nd down and 9. 2 wideouts to each side. He will quick throw and has his slot receiver on the right side. That is caught, and the Blue Jays have themselves a first down.
Yeah, it's off nice little RPO action. He takes the ball, whips it right out there instead of handing the ball off on the inside zone. Whips it right out there to number 4, Kyle Collins. Collins right in the slot, takes the ball, gets a nice advance for a first down.
The Blue Jays have kept the ball on the ground, only throwing when they absolutely have to. Goes in motion for protection. Hand off. Garcia, Landon Garcia touching for the first time tonight, I believe. He's rushed for 384 yards on the year as the leading rusher for the Blue Jays. But he's brought down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was
2nd and 10.
That was Johnson Jordan making the tackle from his outside linebacker position. Good form tackle right around the knees, brought him down.
Everybody packed in tight. Perez wants to run all the way, but he runs into some traffic, is able to find a little bit of a hole, but not much, and gets about 4 out of that. So that's going to bring up 3rd and about 6, a little bit more than 6.
Yeah, design quarterback run. Look at the lead block by the guard, by the fullback, by the halfback. That's quarterback sweep all the way, trying to get out there and find a spot to be able to pop him through. You can kind of see what Jesuit's plan is, right? They're going to run Bo Perez. You know, they're going to ride that horse as long as they can ride him. They'll use him to throw the football when they have to on the little dinks and dunks and the RPOs and things like that. But I'm telling you, he's not just a quarterback, he's a tailback too.
And, you know, if he keeps with the size and weight that he's got, he can wear down that line. He is going to throw it long down the left side. Touched and bobbled. Is it complete? Did he? No, he did not get it. That was out there for Roman Lare.
Yeah, on the coverage, number 24. Joshua Brown does a nice job getting his hands up just to distract the vision of Lare, getting in and out of his hands right there at the boundary. I thought the ball was very well thrown, Ken, out there by Bo Perez.
Well thrown, well played defensively, and Lare, as he was walking back to the bench and the camera was off him, you didn't see, was really a little upset with himself that he wasn't able to focus in and pull it down, but that was just a good defensive play. He did everything he could do, and this punt's going to get a bit of a Jesuit roll and be down at the 30-yard line. And we're down to less than 30 seconds to play. We've got probably 1 play left, 3 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. And Holy Cross is leading this one 6-0, and this will be their second possession with the football in this game, starting at their own 30-yard line. And as we said, Anatella with a lot of experience. Hand it off. And it's Caden Ando with his first run. Second leading rusher. 414 yards coming into the game. He's been one of the workhorses along with Keyron Smith, Claude Johnson. has been one of the runners, and that will do it for the first quarter of play. We have played one here in this big 102nd year of Holy Cross and Jesuit. And after one quarter, Holy Cross touchdown, missed the extra point, leads it 6-0 over the Jesuit Blue Jays. Right now you see on the field the Community Service Awards are given to senior football lettermen from each team for their exemplary service to the community. Each receives a scholarship from Royal Honda. Jesuit's Charles Lehman has been dedicated to serving those in need. Last summer, he worked as a chaperone at the Crew de Camp, a camp for children and adults with developmental disabilities. There he was recognized for his outstanding leadership and commitment to engaging his camper by being named the most spirited chaperone. He is also serving as an executive aide on Student Council. Holy Cross's Matthew Kakamo. At St. Luke the Evangelist Church in St. Tammany Parish, he was honored as the recipient of the CYO Youth Leadership Award and was selected to speak at his confirmation. He remains active in CYO and assists in teaching confirmation class on Sundays. He's also assisted in hurricane relief and helping the homeless. So congratulations again to Jesuit's Charles Lehman and Holy Cross's Matthew Kakamo, our Community Service Award recipients for this big rivalry game.
Look, that's important, and I know one thing you do at Jesuit is you give 100 hours to the community when you are a senior, so you start that at the end of your junior year, the summer, as you're moving into your senior year, and that's one of the things that's an expectation of all Jesuit graduates upon graduating as a Jesuit graduate, right? And being an alumni is putting in those 100 hours to service to the community. Holy Cross does similar with a lot of service to the community. That's outstanding for the city of New Orleans.
Canatella with the handoff straight ahead. Not much there. Ando pushing past the 35 up to the 36, 37-yard line. A gain of 3.
Yeah, look, Ando had a nice game last week against Carr. We had the pleasure to do Carr last week, Carr and Holy Cross. And Holy Cross had a lot of success in certain spots, should I say, moving the ball offensively against Carr. And one of it was the inside running game between the tackles, and Ando was a part of that. He comes in with 69 carries, 414 yards, and 5 touchdowns on the season. He is a junior, so that position looks bright as things move forward for Holy Cross.
Wide receivers have been very quiet. Johnson and Young to the left side. They will throw instead to the tight end, Cone Johnson, or the fullback, I should say. Plays both positions, Cone Johnson, and Johnson will move the chains as the senior, the 5'11 senior, boom, his first reception of this season. Haven't gone to him at all. So there's a new little wrinkle.
Nice little mix-up for a fullback screen right there when they're mixing things up. And offensively, a little dink, little dunk, little inside zone run. Everything kind of blends together when you get into that rhythm.
From the 43 of Holy Cross, they'll go to the right side this time to Young, and he is brought down immediately. Kobe Young, the Georgia Tech commit, tied as the leading receiver. With more catches, though, 37, 443 yards coming in here. Enjoyed his wow moment versus John Curtis a few weeks ago, converting a 2-point conversion around left end as the Tigers beat John Curtis for the first time since the teams began playing when Curtis joined this Catholic League in 2015. Canatella with lots of time, good protection. He'll throw. It's called Kobe Young again. Kobe Young very near the first down marker, but a flag is also down. Our officials from the New Orleans Officials Association tonight. Let's see what this one's all about. Not quite sure.
Might have a defensive holding penalty out there. Haven't gotten a word from our association yet, or as they're explaining it to Scott Watney, head coach of Holy Cross.
He seemed to be okay with it.
Oh, there it is.
That's why.
There you go. Defensive holding. So they're going to take the first down. They declined a penalty. Smart thing to do as an offense. And we're ready to play ball again.
Yeah, it's going to move it down to the 47-yard line of the Blue Jays. And the handoff. Nice spin out of there. Aiden Ando pushes inside the 45, or maybe they're going to mark it right at the 45-yard line for a gain of 2. Second down 8 coming up for the Tigers.
You know, everything for Holy Cross's offense is on rhythm, right? They're trying to make sure that they quickly do things with tempo. They're trying to spread the ball around to their athletes, making sure everybody gets a touch. They love to run the RPO game, and, you know, so far so good. They've pecked away, and they're moving the ball steadily.
Good play action by Canatella. This time the protection breaks down, and the Blue Jays get to him for a big sack.
Yeah, that was...
And if that's who I think it is, that is Zyron Forstall, and that is his... he's got 3 tackle for losses coming in here. If you want to call that a sack, that is his sack right there. First sack of the year, officially. But he is normally a guy who can get around the end, come in quickly, Wade.
Well, Forstall's there. Young guy. He's going to have a great future at Jesuit. Also there, Will Berry, sophomore defensive lineman, 6'3", 235. They get there. Thought Cole Canatella held on to the ball a little too long.
And Canatella this time steps into the pocket. He's going to throw it long. He has a man down there, and it is pulled down at the 5-yard line on a beautiful pitch and catch. And that one pulled in by Cross Johnson. First time they target him in this ball game, and he makes the long catch. 47 yards all the way down to the 5-yard line of the Blue Jays.
A lot of cushion given to Cross Johnson. I can see why. He's got a lot of speed. He runs right past Jody Barber. No safety help across the top. The safety was held off by another route, so that locks Barber into coverage with Johnson, and Johnson gets on top of him. But here's the deal. Great protection. Cole Canatella delivers the deep ball on the target.
Yeah, he really did. The protection has really been the story. Caden Ando, the running back, protecting. Will they give it to him? No, Canatella. Yes, they will. And he will try sweeping the right side. He's close as he goes down near the goal line. They'll mark it at the 1-yard line. Holy Cross leading 6-0 and threatening.
Yeah, sweep right again, trying to get all those big bodies of that offensive line out there on a hat, and they locking up horns with anything in a white jersey, and that gives Ando a chance to bounce that thing outside down to the 1-yard line.
Second down and goal. And the give. Was it a clean handoff? It was, and he's got it, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown. Caden Ando with the score for the Holy Cross Tigers, 12-0. Holy Cross with the lead.
Well, look, that's all Holy Cross's offensive line there, right? On that particular scoring play, on the play before, on the protection for the deep pass on the post to Cross Johnson. The only thing they held out as long as they possibly could on the sack. Cole Canatella holds on the ball a little bit too long. Holy Cross's offensive line is steadily handling Jesuit at this point up front.
Noel Mora to attempt the extra point. This time he kicks it through. 13-0 Holy Cross. Let's give that offensive line a little airtime here. Albert Pumella, Colin Wenzel, Brady Landreau, Andrew Wette, and Caden Bourgeois. A 10-play, 70-yard drive took 5 minutes and 3 seconds, and Holy Cross on the board with that 1-yard plunge by Caden Ando, and it is 13-0 Tigers.
Jesuit needs to answer. You know, they've got to do something here on the kickoff, get decent field position, and then they've got to put together a nice drive and come away with some points.
Tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Superior Benefit Solutions, who takes great pride in bringing 5-star service to our community. Whether it's be attracting employees, retaining quality employees, competitive benefit packages, or cost savings, they are here to provide solutions. No business is too large or too small. Contact Justin Manali at 504-307-8905. It's Justin Manelli at 504-307-8905, or visit SuperiorBenefitSolutions.com. Talked to Justin a little bit before the game. I believe that was him chatting.
Yeah, Justin's down on the sideline. He does a lot of work to help his brother out on the sideline, for the season. And he was a great offensive lineman at Rummel. I had a chance to coach against him, and boy, I tell you what, he could play. He was a physical guy, and and Jay Roth really relied on him a lot on that offensive line back when he was at Rummel.
Barber and LaBeouf back deep, and again Noel Mora. But the first one about 1 yard deep. He went for a touchback. The second one was pulled down right at the goal line. And Mora sends this one right back to the goal line again, and it will be returned. It is Barber again. Had a good return last time, and he's out to the 25. This time fumble, and Holy Cross picked it up. And let's see who's got it now. They're going to have to unpack. The Tigers say they do, but wait for the officials. Wait for the officials here. And you've got a Jesuit player slow to get up, and that might be Barber who returned it. He is, but he is up now and coming off the field under his own power. That's number one. You see him right there in the middle of the pile. So it was, he was hit hard enough that it shook him up a little bit. And he lost the football. Take a look at it.
Yeah, he was popped, right?
Yeah.
And the ball came out, and Jesuit was able to get back and land on it. That could have been disastrous, right? Here comes your replay, and bang, there goes a pop. Very nice hit right there by the Holy Cross coverage team getting down there. I believe that was number 21, Key Ryan Smith, sophomore running back.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, starter at running back. Well, they must have called it down, and so it didn't work. It was not a recovered fumble by the Tigers, and Jesuit has the football.
Well, there's Patrick Berrigan.
First down. Yep.
Patrick Berrigan right there taking it off tackle. Look at the counter play right here. There it is. There's a kick. There's the seal right there. Berrigan sticking it up. Berrigan, the son of a good friend of mine that I played high school football with at Jesuit, Jimmy Berrigan, one of the great linebackers of the time in the 70s.
Berrigan again gets the call. He'll try left side. Is caught from behind and pulled down as he gets up to the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd down 3 for the Blue Jays.
When they operate inside the sticks, Kenny, they can move the ball. They've just got to be patient and stay inside those sticks and make sure they move it on cue, right? These thirds and shorts are important. Now you got to convert on it. But it all starts back on first down. What do you do on first down? First down is the important down in the offense.
Everybody stacked in tight on 3rd down and 3. Is this going to be a patented Bo Perez keeper? It will be, and he will come to the near side. Breaks one tackle. He has passed the 33 up to the 35. He's got the first down. So he will use that body and that frame and the speed that he has and the push that he has to move the chains.
Watch the block right here off the edge. Bang. You can see the Holy Cross defender didn't catch his number, was cleaned up nice by the fullback coming through that area. I think that was Frank Finacle that did a nice job coming in there and knocking down the linebacker, which could have banged Bo Perez up in the backfield. Great job by the fullback or H-back, junior Frank Finacle.
And you're seeing Jesuit do exactly what many people, high snap, but again, Perez with that height, 6'5" height, he was able to get up, pull it down, but it really just disrupted the play, and the Blue Jays just have to get it back to the line of scrimmage, which they do. 2nd down 10.
Yeah, Luke Appy gets there real quick. No place to go. It could have also been Liuza there making the play too.
Now, a lot of teams have tried to use ball control, eat up the clock. You've got to get down and score if you're doing it. I think that's what Jesuit's trying to do. And if they can turn this into that kind of a drive, they're right in this ball game going into the halftime locker room. They eat up a lot of time on this clock. That time Perez didn't get much, and man, the rush was in there. Max Landry from his defensive position, a 6-foot sophomore, there.
Yeah, there's Bo Perez off tackle. There's the kick out on the power and the wraparound. Great job right there by 95.
That's
Max Landry, the sophomore, like you said, does a nice job playing off the kick-out block, stays underneath it, and then wraps up on Bo Perez.
Yeah, you know, going back to that keep away everybody played, Brother Martin limited Holy Cross to just 6 possessions in the entire football game.
Yeah, but somewhere you got to score. Right?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You got to put some points on the board.
St. Aug did the same thing in the first half of that ball game. They limited Holy Cross to just 2 or 3 possessions, and Holy Cross was down by a few, but Holy Cross came out in the second half in that game and was able to, and they took the second half kickoff. They ate up a long drive of their own, ate up 6 minutes on the clock, and then all of a sudden that sort of unleashed their tempo game, and they went on to win 55 to 20, 55 to 30 or something along that line.
Well, when you're playing the ball control game, which is fine. Look, I played it for a ton of years. I had to, right? You just got to make sure you come up when you get the chance with field position. You got to come up with some points.
I want to take time out and tell you about the Notary Shop. The Notary Shop has locations in Metairie, Kenner, Harahan, Marrero, and Homa, offering notary services and title transfers, and it's an authorized service provider for the Office of Motor Vehicles. Visit notaryshop.com to find out the location nearest you. And folks, I tell you, that's nice. You can save a lot of time when you don't have to go to the actual office, the state office, no matter where it's located in your area. Go to somewhere like the Notary Shop, save a lot of time, get a lot of specific extra service, and watch how good it can be for you. The Notary Shop. Check them out again. notaryshop.com. Bo Perez, nobody to throw to, so he'll just run. And see how hard he is to bring down. He'll take 3 or 4 guys to get him down. Now, he's short of the first down, but he's made it doable because he's up. Well, they're going to mark it back to the 39-yard line, so it'll be 4th down and 6. So, yeah, he didn't get it.
Well, things collapse. Everything's covered. Nowhere to go. He runs. They're in a 3rd and long situation. As we said earlier, they've got to try to stay out of those 3rd and long situations. Yep. That's not conducive for what they do offensively. And when you're in those 3rd and long situations, now you're going to have the routes right. The coverage is going to have to be able to be beaten, and you're going to have protection. And they kind of struck out on all 3 of those things right there on that particular play.
Andrew Bourdillon. One guy broke through, but he's able to get a good punt off. This will not be returned by Kobe Young, and you'll get a great Jesuit roll all the way down to the, they mark it at the 18-yard line of Holy Cross, but the Tigers have it with 3:05 to play in the first half, and they lead it. Holy Cross does 13-0 in this, 102-year-old rivalry. How special is that? At halftime, Ron Bricado, high school historian, the Golden Game author. Oh, man, he'll talk about it. He knows this one probably as well as anybody, whether they've played it or not. Holy Cross on first down will just keep it on the ground, push it forward. Nothing fancy. They don't want to make any mistakes down close to their goal. They'll be happy to let that clock run and probably, we'll see what happens. Would they just sit on this one a little bit and take this lead into the halftime locker room?
No, they're going to try to push things here. They're going to stay within the tempo of what they like to do. They're going to try to make sure they spread the ball around, all of the things that they want to be able to do to be able to get in rhythm, right? Jesuits changed their defensive front. They've gone to their 3-4 look, should I say, their 3-4 look right there to be able to kind of combat some of the spread formations of Holy Cross.
Panatella over to the right side. He's got Kobe Young, and Kobe Young is out of bounds. So using the sideline well to stop the clock with 2:18 to go.
Look, giving Kobe Young a lot of cushion out there, right? Kobe Young breaking the route off nicely. Ball delivered by Cope Canatella on the target right here. Look at the cushion being given by the corner. Ball's delivered, and he just steps right out of bounds.
Claude Johnson is the running back. Use some different people back there to keep fresh legs in there. Blitz is on. Canatella in trouble. Throws it quickly. Gets rid of it in time. And it's picked up by Cross Johnson. And Johnson is brought down short of the first down. Flags are down. Got a flag down at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, it's behind the play right there. It's going to be interesting to see what the backfield judge throws there. But I tell you what, Canatella got rid of that under the face of pressure.
Well, he really did, didn't he?
We're looking at a helmet hit right there, a helmet-to-helmet hit or a contact hit. Or a crackback block by the receiver, it looks like. I said helmet-to-helmet. I should have said crackback block.
Yeah. Well, that'll move it back way behind the chains and make this one first. And, goodness, a drive to Lake Pontchartrain from here. My goodness. 1st and 25. 1st and 25. Holy Cross trying to move with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first half. Deep in their own territory. Play action. Canatella in trouble. Canatella protecting the football, and he is brought down by 3 Blue Jays on the spot at the 20-yard line. Gio Matranga led the charge.
Yeah, he comes blitzing off the edge, right? Does a nice job. And you can see he got picked up by the back, but he stays with it, right? He stays with it. Credit Matranga for not giving up after he got blocked, and he comes right back and gets the sack. Cole Canatella needs to get rid of that ball. He's holding on to that thing just a tad bit too long. If the coverage isn't there, that's okay. No problem. Tuck it and run the ball, or let's just throw that thing away and live for another down.
Seems like, especially on this series, the Blue Jays have decided to try to come with some pressure. Put a little bit of pressure on Canatella, see if they can get to him or at least get him moving.
Well, they're doing it out of a different front. Like I said, they're in their 3-4 front and sometimes hopping into the 3-3-5 front, and that allows them to bring those linebackers from depth, right? So Matranga right there came up to the edge, and he came off of the edge to the strong side of Canatella. It got picked up nicely by the back. I think it was Kyron Smith that picked up the blitz, but like I said, Matranga just stays with it and comes away with his sack of the night, his first sack of the night.
Yeah, and your Jesuit linebackers, Wyatt Meyer, James Roniger, and Tucker Schibler, who you saw honored also as one of the Lettermen being honored tonight as part of the rivalry series here. Those are your 3 leading tacklers. So your linebackers have done the damage defensively for the Jesuit Blue Jays, and they have been right there. Holy Cross keeping it on the ground, playing it safe here up to the 21-yard line and no more as the clock is stopped.
Yeah, that was Zyron Forstall on that tackle right there. Hey, look, he's a good-looking kid. I was down on the field looking at him during warm-ups. The freshman, 6'3", 205 pounds. He's going to have a great career at Jesuit. Mm-hmm. He comes in with 14 tackles, 4 hurries, 1 pass breakup. I'll tell you what, when you get a defensive lineman involved in a pass breakup, those eyes get big, right?
Yes. And listen, you've got a couple of defensive linemen for both teams that can do that. For the Jesuit Blue Jays, Zyron Forstall at 6'3", and then for the Holy Cross Tigers, you've got a guy named Max Landry on the defensive line, or actually a linebacker in DiGirolamo, Nicholas DiGirolamo, who can do that.
Yeah, Jesuit uses their last timeout right there to try to take advantage of this field situation that Holy Cross is in, coming to a 3rd and long.
Yeah, 3rd down at about 23. It's got a long way to go. Listen, they're at their own 21. They've got to get to the 47 for a first down. They'll just try a flanker screen on the right side. It's complete, but it's not going to get just a few yards. Won't get to the 30. And again, they got to get to the 47. And if they pushed him out of bounds, did that stop the clock?
They got him out of bounds.
Yeah,
it looks like great job by Kobe Young fighting to get out of bounds. As you can see, the Jesuit kids very well coached, trying to keep them in bounds. The Holy Cross kids very well coached. He's trying to get out of bounds, and he won that one, got out of bounds and stopped the clock. Or did the clock stop? Maybe he didn't.
No, it's running.
For sure, I thought I saw an official over there waving his arms, stopping the clock.
Well, I wasn't sure. I thought he was, and not quite sure if he did or not. So they're going to.
Well, Jesuit cannot stop the clock, so Holy Cross is going to run that thing all the way down and use as much of the clock as they can on 4th down and call timeout.
Remaining. So Holy Cross calls timeout and stops the clock with 49 seconds. to play in the first half. Tigers leading at 13-0. And they're facing fourth down. And they're going to have to punt this football away. Remember, the first down marker, the Tigers at their own 28-yard line. First down is at the Holy Cross 47-yard line.
Well, that's what happens when you get an illegal crackback. It's gonna put you back a few yards, right? And it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to operate from behind the sticks like that, even for an offense as strong as Holy Cross's is, and they can move the ball.
No, without question, you're absolutely right. They went from 1st and 10 and moving the football to 1st and 25, and just trying to survive down there by their own goal line. So this is Joseph Carapina. He's a freshman, and he gets a wobbly. This one's going to be very short, and Jesuit's going to have great field position in these closing seconds of the first half. They're going to mark it. He only kicked it to the 39-yard line.
Well, they need to take some shots here. They flipped the field, right? They got the penalty that moved the ball back. Awesome job. They got the punt that they needed. It bounces back and gives them some chance to be able now to take some shots here in 40 seconds. Problem is they don't have any timeouts.
That's right. No timeouts. An 11-yard punt. So Jesuit has it at the Holy Cross 40-yard line with 40 seconds to play first half. They're trailing by 2 touchdowns, 13-6. One missed extra point by the Holy Cross Tigers. You got a score on the board here if you're the Blue Jays, and you've got a rivalry game. It's exactly what you've got in the first half. So, he fumbles it, and somehow Perez is able to pick it up off the turf and just hold it. He's going to lose some yardage, but Jesuit holds the ball, and he's just got to get on the ground right now because the clock's ticking. So he loses 6 yards back to the 46-yard line.
Well, you can see the reverse. Bergeron hands it to Palmisano. Palmisano drops the ball on the handoff, picked up by Bo Perez, and then that's kind of been the story of the offense all year for Jesuit.
And we've got a flag at the snap of the ball. Not sure if I saw movement or not, and I did. Legal procedure. That'll stop the clock with 10 seconds to play in the first half. And the way this drive is going for the Jesuit Blue Jays sort of almost defines the year that they've had.
Well, it's been a struggle.
Yeah, it's been a struggle.
Look, I've been there, right? And
every coach has and every player has.
Right, at all levels. And they're struggling a little bit. They've got an outstanding coaching staff, man, one of the best coaching staffs in the city, right? And sometimes it just doesn't work out. They'll get that thing righted, hopefully, by the time they get into the playoffs. 4 verticals right there.
Well, there it is. And, in just a little bit of time you had, you got it down to the 20, but the clock's going to run out. And were they able to? Wait, the officials are saying it's not over. Holy Cross players, some of them are running to the locker room, but the officials are saying there's time for one more snap. And now they're saying no, that the clock has run out and the first half is over. And Holy Cross leads it 13-0 after 1 half of play. Quick thought on the first half, Wade.
Well, Jesuit's got to go in and they've got to get some energy going. They've got to do something to get some energy. You can see it a little bit in their body language. It doesn't look too good right now. And then they've got to come out and they need to get a 3 and out and put some points on the board. That will give them some energy right away. Holy Cross needs to go in and continue talking about their tempo, what they need to do from the standpoint of continuing spreading the ball around offensively. And, hey, defensively, they're playing great defense. They need to go in, just remind them of the things that they've got to do to continue playing that good defense.
Well, you're looking down on the field at the legends of the game. For Jesuit, the great Wayne Frasang, class of 1966, and for Holy Cross, Mark Trippi Slandayer. Frasang played quarterback and defensive back and was district MVP, All-State, All-Southern, and Catholic All-American. He also excelled in basketball, baseball, and track and received the Larry Gilbert Trophy as Jesuit's best athlete in 1966. He went on to play football and baseball at Tulane and played professionally in the Chicago White Sox organization. The Jesuit legend of the game, the great Wayne Frasang, class of 1966. And for Holy Cross, I'll tell you one thing about Wayne Frisang. He had one of the greatest offensive years in 1968, I believe, at Tulane that any quarterback had ever had in the history of the game before they got into the more open passing game, and some of that offense was able to take that over. For Holy Cross, Mark Trippy Deslandier. I messed that up as much as I practiced it, and I know Mark, and I know Trippy, and I know the family, and I messed it up that time.
He's smiling.
So you can take a look at it.
Look, both two good football players right there, two great representatives of two great institutions.
Deslandier is a 4-year letterman in football who played guard and linebacker, was an all-state selection as a senior at guard, but had a huge play on defense in the 1974 Holy Cross Jesuit game, returning a fumble for a touchdown. He is the only Tiger to receive the Butch Dewey Memorial Award twice in 1974 and 1975. Mark Trippy Deslandier, class of 1975. Trippy, I am so sorry I messed your last name up on that play. Two great legends of the game. We'll talk about them in just a little while. First, we've got something special for you at halftime, and this is something we've kind of been waiting to show you. In the 100-plus year history of this series, there have been many highlights. Let's look back at some of them with longtime New Orleans prep sports writer Ron Mercado.
15 years, New Orleans high school sports, Warren Easton and Jesuit was the premier game. That all changed in 1921 when St. Aloysius formed its first football team. Then they came into the mix, and not to be outdone, the men's club at Holy Cross decided, well, if St. Aloysius is in it, we're going to be in it too. They raised $150 to hire their first coach. Things didn't go well for the new team. The fledglings were called the Mix because of their Irish heritage. And for the first 3 years, Jesuit beat them by a combined score of 140-0. That all changed in 1925 when Holy Cross got an influx of boarding students from Bay St. Louis area who were very talented athletes. Not only did Holy Cross hand Jesuit its first defeat of the young rivalry 45-0, they tied perennial champion Warren Easton in the prep league during that year. Two significant things happened in 1937. The WPA built this 24,500 seat stadium, not exclusively, but mostly for high school sports. And secondly, it was a year the LHSAA instituted a tiebreaker system, where if a game was tied, the outcome would be decided by which team had more first downs. If that was tied, it would be which team had more penetrations in the opponent's 20-yard line. And little did they know this rule would be tested right off the bat. A crowd of 9,000 fans sat in the rain through a thrilling football duel between Holy Cross and Jesuit at Loyola Stadium. They watched the two Catholic schools battle to a 6-6 tie. But while Holy Cross held Jesuit to even in points and first downs, the Blue Jays had 3 more penetrations. And according to the officials who were supposed to keep log of the penetrations and downs, Jesuit was the winner. Not so fast, said the Holy Cross coach. He approached the officials and yelling that they actually had 1 more first down than Jesuit. The referee wouldn't change his decision on that, and Holy Cross took their case to the LHSAA. It took a few months to decide, but after coaches from both schools testified, the head official admitted that the 2-man crew did not record downs and penetrations. The LHSAA had no recourse but to declare the game a no game. Let's move on to 1940. By 1929, Loyola had given up football. Tulane was really the only game in town as far as college football is concerned. On a cold November afternoon, Jesuit and Holy Cross battled before a crowd that was incredible. 34,345 crowded into the stadium. 1,000 had to be turned away. They had to put up temporary bleachers in the end zone to accommodate the extra people. The game itself wasn't really a classic. Jesuit won the game rather easily, 25-7. But the significance of it was the crowd. In 1951, the rivalry took on an extra game. They actually had played twice that year. Holy Cross had uncovered a new star in Joe Delaney. And that Sunday afternoon, they really rose to the occasion and defeated Jesuit 20-13. Previously unknown and unheard of, Delaney scored all 3 touchdowns. The victory made Holy Cross the only undefeated team in the state in Class AA, and they were just 2 games away from winning the 3rd consecutive district championship and entering the playoffs with just Forte and Nichols left to play. But Nichols, playing the game of the year with a 3-5 record, upset the Tigers 25-6, giving them their first loss. Jesuit also had just 1 loss, and at the end of the season, because the LHSAA took just 1 team from each area, the 2 had to play again. Holy Cross staged one of the greatest comebacks I've seen in high school football that year. Trailing 14-6 near the end of the 3rd quarter, Holy Cross scored 1 touchdown before the period ended and came back and scored again with 3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the game to win 18-14 and gain a berth in the South Louisiana playoffs. With the teams having played twice in 1951, and all of a sudden in 1963, they have to do it again. But this time, the coaches are brothers-in-law. Jesuit lost the first 2 games and would lose a 3rd to Redemptress, entering the final game of the regular season against the Tigers. The hard-fought defensive struggle before 20,000 people at City Park Stadium. Holy Cross defeated Jesuit 7-0 to win the Catholic League championship. Victory enabled the Tigers to finish the regular season campaign with an undefeated but once-tied record. But Jesuit wasn't finished. This year, the LHSAA instituted a rule that allowed a second team from the same district to enter the playoffs. So a second game between Kalbacher and Tarzetti's teams was for the state championship. Scheduled to be played at Tulane Stadium before a record crowd, the championship game was twice postponed by weather. The game finally took place on Tuesday night before an estimated crowd of 27,500 at Tulane Stadium. Once again, the 2 waged a war on the field, with Holy Cross pulling out a 14-6 victory to gain its first state championship in 19 years. Glenn Smith and Ray Collada both scored touchdowns on 1-yard runs. Collada's winning points came in the final period. Year 2000, the new millennium, Holy Cross and Jesuit played to a double overtime game, with Holy Cross winning 48-45. Holy Cross survived a furious Jesuit rally in which the Blue Jays scored 35 points in the 3rd period to pull out the win. The 2 most electrifying plays came back-to-back when the Tigers' Gino Jambaluka returned a kickoff 92 yards to open a 24-17 lead that was short-lived when Jesuit's Chris Marquet answered with a 96-yard kickoff return to tie the game again. 2005, Hurricane Katrina. The city was in shambles. Holy Cross's campus was devastated. Jesuit's basement and 1st floor was flooded, and the 86th meeting between the 2 teams appeared to be doomed. The 2 former Holy Cross Tigers, Vic Umont and Barry Wilson, decided that in the face of this disaster, it was time for the city to find some normalcy. Wilson, now head coach at Holy Cross, phoned his friend and now Jesuit head man Umont, who was living with his daughter in Los Angeles, called to propose a game between the 2 teams. "We can't let this rivalry die," he told him. Umont returned to the city, rounded up displaced players and enough equipment to fill a team for a game. Wilson gathered the remnants of his remaining players, and the game was arranged at Yenny Stadium on a Saturday afternoon on October 22nd, just 53 days after the storm. A reserve running back named Cass Hargis found out he would start on the day of the game after just 1 week of practice. Normally a wide receiver, Hargis ran for 128 yards and scored 3 touchdowns as the Tigers beat the Jays 20-10. But thanks to the determination of the 2 coaches and with the help of other schools who were not affected by the storm, the game was played and history was preserved.
So special as we watch halftime here with Holy Cross leading Jesuit 13-0 at the half, that piece ended with the Katrina game, because both athletics directors who were and football coaches played such a big role in that, and the principals played a big role in making that game happen. But the 2 coaches, Vic Umont of Jesuit, Barry Wilson of Holy Cross, who were Holy Cross teammates on the 1963 state championship team, let me tell you, that was special. They got together and said, this game has got to happen.
Yeah, and yeah, there's no doubt about it. And there were
Charlie DeGange,
right? You go back
Rocca,
to right.
You go from the Jesuit side, DeGange on the Holy Cross side. They made it happen, and you know what it said to everybody, Wade? It said, we're back. The Catholic League is back. No matter what happens with Hurricane Katrina, we are back.
Well, the thing is it gave a day of people to be able to hang their hat on something that was happy.
You're not kidding. And talk about happy. Holy Cross is happy right now. Right. Jesuit is not.
And they're happy with those numbers.
Yeah, the Tigers lead 13-0. Let's take a look at the stats and your thoughts as you take a look here.
Well, Jesuit struggling offensively. I mean, we've said that coming in the pregame show. We know that. We've seen it in the first half. You look at Holy Cross offensively, you can just look at those numbers right there. You can see that they're going to they're going to try to run the football, but they're also going to throw the football. They want to try to balance things out and spread things around. They want to get their running game going a little bit more at halftime. I'm sure that's something that they're going to talk about inside. But look at the total yards right there, 160 to 62. You can tell Jesuit struggling offensively.
Yeah, and it's just something that look, they've got a good quarterback, but it's been that kind of a year, and I can't remember when a team has had to start a season like the Blue Jays with 4 teams that were in the finals of the state championship race last year. John Curtis, who won the state championship over Brother Martin, they started with those 2, and Lafayette Christian and Ruston, both in the state. And Brother Martin, or John Curtis? No, it's Brother Martin. Goodness gracious, my mind just went blank. But anyway, you've got 4 teams, and that was right there to start the season for the Jesuit Blue Jays.
Well, yeah. And the thing about it is scheduling is such a tricky thing. It just doesn't work out. They had Slidell first, like you said, Ruston, Lafayette Christian, John Curtis, and then St. Aug. You go Slidell, Ruston, Lafayette Christian right into the Catholic League, and then the Catholic League each week. It's hard. And then last week they beat Booker T. Washington, which is a solid public school program in the city of New Orleans. Yep. They get on the board. They score some points last week. Hopefully they right the ship tonight. They're struggling and can't get into the end zone. And then they end up on week 10 with Archbishop Rummel.
And look, before we take a look at the scoreboard, I want to remind you, too, for Holy Cross, this has been something special for Scott Watney. Look, he comes back. This is his alma mater, class of 2005, so he graduated right before Katrina hit in that year. He graduates in May 2005, and Katrina hits in August 2005. But
yeah, he was a good football player. I coached against him. I was at Brother Martin at the time, and we lined up against him. He was a really good football kid for Barry Wilson and his staff, right? And look, then he went on and had a solid college career. And he goes into coaching, and he's done a nice job wherever he's been coaching at the high school level.
Yeah, and he really has. And look, he had he's had his big moments, and he gets really excited about that. But he's excited just to be back at his alma mater. There's a lot of firsts for him. Again, he coached at Hannon, he coached at Catholic New Iberia, but when Holy Cross went 3-0 and 4-0, that's the first time this year, because they opened up with 6 wins in a row. That's the first time that's happened since 2018. 5-0. They entered the first top 10 ranking of the season. Hadn't had one of those in many, many years. 6-0. First time since 2013, which was the last time Holy Cross had beat Brother Martin, and Brother Martin then handed Holy Cross their first loss at 6-0 to end that streak. Then the first win over John Curtis this year in the history of the two teams meeting. Curtis joined the Catholic League in 2015. That's the first time they played, and Holy Cross was 0-9 against Curtis until they beat him on the last play of the game.
Yeah, and look, you talk about non-district schedules. You know, they haven't played any pushovers. I don't know much about the Holy Cross San Antonio team from Texas. I hear they're a good football team. I also know they play good football in Texas, but then they come home, they play a good De La Salle football team. They beat De La Salle, and then Chalmette is having an outstanding year in their district, and they beat Chalmette 28-20 before they headed into the the rigors of the Catholic League. Hey, next week they go and play a really good East St. John football team.
And before we go to scoreboard, I'll tell you what got Holy Cross people and the fan base excited was because they beat San Antonio, Holy Cross San Antonio 45-0. The year before, Holy Cross San Antonio lost in the semifinals of the Texas Private League. They had won 9 games in a row, had a bunch of people returning, and it was a game that people thought was going to be really close, and Holy Cross just opened up with this tempo, this wide-open offense that they have, and it just kind of reignited a lot of hope and a lot of spirit in the program for the Holy Cross Tigers, and off it went. Let's take a look at some scoreboard and some key scores at halftime. How about this one, first of all, St. Paul's and Ponchatoula?
Well, right now over there in the North Shore League, there's a lot of great football going on, and St. Paul's is getting tested by Ponchatoula. St. Paul's coming off that Covington win last week, and then look at the Destrehan East St. John game.
Destrehan's like on a 23-game win streak. If I've got the number right, I may be off by one, but I think if they win tonight, it's 23 in a row. And that included their win over Ruston. That's the team that beat Ruston in the state championships last year.
Yeah, Destrehan up 17-10 on East St. John. East St. John will be who Holy Cross will be facing next week. East St. John always has a good football team. Brandon Brown does a great job coaching his kids out there in LaPlace. How about that John Curtis Brother Martin score from the Shrine on Airline, 19-7?
Let me say this. If it holds, Coach J.T. Curtis will tie Coach John McKissick for the most wins in high school football in the United States of America. The number would be 621 if it holds. Now, Brother Martin's a very explosive team. This is at half. These are halftime scores for you. So if it holds, it's going to be a very special day for Coach J.T. Curtis.
Yeah, John Curtis up 19-7 at halftime. And then a team we saw last week who I had a chance to do the game with Lenny Van Gilder last week, the Carr Holy Cross game. Carr, when they want to put the pedal to the metal, it's like they're shifting, they downshift, and then they shift it back into gear. They're up 13-10 on Rummel, who's hanging in there, who has, been fighting through all types of injuries this year.
Yes.
Nick Monica and his staff have been having to overcome a ton of injuries, especially at the running back position. They're hanging tough against Carr, and a 13-10 score at halftime.
And, of course, our scores, you can always get the best scores at CrescentCitySports.com. Ken Trahan has got the original on Friday night, 106.1. And if there's a score in the state of Louisiana, you will get it, and probably a report on the game to accompany it. So you want to be listening to that while you're watching this stream. Ken Trahan and all the reporters from around the state of Louisiana, it was the original, still is, was the best, still is. You'll get the scores you need right there. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, and a good crew here with Lenny Van Gilder producing. Matt Merritt's our director. Josh Allen and Marco Barona is our camera people today. And they have just done a great job of giving you some fantastic video of this big rivalry game. It's the 104th game in the 102nd year, because 2 times they played twice, in 1951 and then in 1963. Holy Cross won the original, the regular season game, and then won again at Tulane Stadium before some 40,000 people outdrew Tulane.
Yeah, that was
most home games that year.
Kalbacher and Tarzetti, correct? Brother-in-laws.
That's right, brothers-in-law. Brothers-in-law, and
I think I've told you some stories there, right? That I was privy to. Hey,
yes.
What 2 great coaches, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Listen, both were characters, both were good football coaches, and the Catholic League a little bit smaller than it was now. You had
What do you think those guys talked about at Thanksgiving dinner?
well, you know, the talk around Holy Cross was it was never football, not because those two didn't want to do it. They'd have to go outside with coffee on the porch.
Right.
But the wives wouldn't let them talk.
The wives wouldn't let them
y'all
talk.
can talk about
Right.
anything, but you're not talking football at Thanksgiving dinner.
There you go.
Go outside, go take a hike, go take a walk, go do what you want. But if you're in this house, we're eating turkey and maybe sipping on a glass of vino or something, but you're not talking football.
There you go.
What if they watched football?
I bet you I would have loved to have been a little fly on the wall to be able to sit with Ken Tarzetti and John Kalbacher and listen to those conversations.
Let me give you this real quick. I did get to hear a conversation once between defensive coordinator for John Kalbacher, Bill Clements, and Wayne Forsang, who was honored tonight. And Forsang said, "Coach, we had so much trouble at Jesuit beating you in the years I was there." And he says, "I think we only beat you one time and lost two." And Forsang was like a four-sport letterman. So he was a great football player. And Clements says, film study. That's the reason why. And Forsang says, "Don't keep me hanging. Let me know how." He says, "Look, I watched film." And he says, "I noticed that in the single wing, you had an unbalanced line, unbalanced backfield." Well, most of the time, 95% of the time, didn't matter where you were unbalanced on the line. You ran in the direction of the unbalanced backfield because that's where you had your back blockers. And we picked that up on film, and he said, "Wayne, you know all that shifting we were doing right before the snap of the football?" He goes, "Yeah, Coach." He says, "We were just shifting, and wherever you were strong in the backfield, we were shifting in that direction." And Wayne said, "I don't think we knew that about ourselves."
Oh.
And Clement said, "And I wasn't going to tell you."
Hey, and that's why you self-scout. Everybody self-scouts
There
for
you
that.
go. You're absolutely correct. That is why you self-scout.
And that's why you change signals.
Yes.
A little tongue-in-cheek there, right?
Oh, yeah. You guys never stole signals, did you? Statute of limitations is out. It's okay to talk about it now.
Well, you know, it's you know, sometimes things would just be volunteered for you. Right? But no, I'm reading about all of this, and I read one of the best comebacks today by somebody on an ESPN line about this, talking about self-scouting. Right? That's the reason why you self-scout, and if you're using the same signals over and over and over again, it seems to me you better self-scout and change something, right? So,
third quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by Rhino Shield. We'll tell you about them just a little bit later on. Thank you, Rhino Shield, for sponsoring tonight's third quarter. Holy Cross had won the toss. They deferred with a 13-0 lead. They will have the football first as the Blue Jays get set to kick off.
Jesuit needs to come out and get a stop right here and put something on the board. That would definitely change their body language and get them in a situation where they're going to be feeling good about themselves for the rest of the second half. Holy Cross, what do they want to do? They've got to control the football now. They want to come away with points off of the first score and try to put this thing to sleep as quick as they can.
Ethan Cabos to kick it off for the Jesuit Blue Jays. Deep is Morton and Young. Finn Morton and Kobe Young. And they're just going to try the short kick. They tried the
That's onside.
Little boot onside kick right there. That's it. Tigers got it though.
Well, I mean, when you're
it.
When you're in a situation where you got to try to force the habit, so that's exactly what they're trying to do right there. Trying a little surprise on kick right there to start the second half. Just doesn't get the right bounce. Holy Cross, Johnny on the spot and lands on it.
What did Sean Payton do? New Orleans was in the Super Bowl. Same thing. Sometimes you're not expecting it. You think they're just going to kick off. And like you said, count on a defensive stop. Not so. Holy Cross with good field position at their own 43-yard line. They'll shift Kobe Young into the slot down on the left side and then throw to him. Young's got it. Can he work some magic in space? And he does up to about the 49-yard line. They're going to mark it, I believe, at the 48. So a gain of 6.
Yeah, Holy Cross throws the bubble screen out here to the 3 side. It's a 3-by-1 formation. Watch Tucker Schibler come from inside out, number 40 right there, make a great tackle. National Merit semifinalist, 36 on the ACT, runs well as a linebacker, and can tackle as a linebacker, the leading tackler for the Jays.
T. Ryan Smith is the running back. You've got Kobe Young, the very dangerous receiver, up at the top of your screen. Hand off to Keyron Smith. He's going to take it around the right side. Cuts in. Good cut. Stepped inside of a couple of tacklers. Fights for the first down. He's got it and more. Inside the Blue Jay 40, down to about the 39-yard line of Jesuit on a fine run by Keyron Smith.
Yeah, finally brought down by Will Allen over there on the sweep. Look at the blocking out there by the green jerseys. They're getting a body on a body, just creating room for their running back, right? And then all of a sudden, Will Allen is the guy that kind of saves the day right there for the Blue Jays.
13-yard gain by Keyron Smith. Down to the 39-yard line. Keyron's still in there at running back. And we'll shift to the right side of Cole Canatella. And we've got procedure.
Yeah, false start's going to back them up 5. Jesuit back into their 4-man front, or their 4-3 defense is what they base out of. So what that means is up front, Holy Cross has the numbers. They've got 6 in the box. They're going to want to run the football against that.
First down and 15. Let's see if they do, and they will. Good call, Coach. You said it. And Ryan Smith pushing down to the 40. Lost the ball. I see the officials blowing the whistle, saying that Keyron was stopped or down.
Yeah, Wyatt Meyer comes out of that comes out of that scrum with the football. Said they blew it dead, and Ryan Manali, if I'm him, I'm working some official right now.
Well, he is.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he had a couple words to say.
As soon as one gets a little closer to him, and that's going to happen right now, so he's going to start working him.
Yeah, there was a look at it.
Yes.
There was a good look at it for our replay group, trying to get Meyer the ball out of there, trying to get down the field.
Blitz coming. Canatella, after the play action, escapes traffic. He's going to run. He's got room. He's got the first down and is out of bounds.
They brought James Roniger off the weak side. He almost got home. What happens? Canatella shows his athleticism, does a little spin out of it, and bounces down the boundary. Here comes a blitz.
Delayed.
Right there. Delayed blitz by Roniger. Nice move by Canatella. Very athletic move.
Now got it down to the 26-yard line. And they're going to keep it on the ground. Tigers just keeping it on the ground. They want to eat some clock, too. And Tigers get it down to about the 24-yard line. Keyron Smith pushed back there. Forward progress marked out the 24, gain of 2.
You know, they've got a nice mix of plays. They love the little bubble screens. They love the little sweeps, trying to get out on the edge. They're going to hit you inside with the inside zone or the split zone right there. You know, when you got athletes at your flanks and you've got solid running backs, you're trying, you know, there's not enough balls to spread around. So you try to make sure you attack all positions with those athletes, all areas of the field.
Caden Ando just checked in as a blocker in the backfield, and here's the toss to Kobe Young. He's got it with a good step inside at the 15. He gets down to the 10-yard line, another first down, and let's see whether they mark it officially. I think it's going to be right at the 10.
Yeah, good quick release on the quick game right here. You got to make this tackle, right? You got to come up from the corner. You got to set the edge. You got to make the tackle.
14-yard gain.
Jody Barber just misses the tackle right there and gives Kobe Young extra room to run the football.
First and goal at the 10. This time they'll keep it on the ground. They'll hand it off to Caden Ando. Ando just chugs into the line, and he is inside the 5 or right at the 5-yard line.
Hey, impressed with Ando. Was impressed with him last week against Carr. He runs hard inside. Seems like they like to run him inside on the power play, little gap play right there, or the inside split zones. He ducks his shoulder pads and he gets vertical.
Yeah, 5'10", 177 at 414 yards rushing coming in. This time the give, and it's to Keyron Smith, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown. Holy Cross with the lead, 19-0. Wade?
Yeah, they just hammered it again right inside. Great job by the offensive line of Holy Cross, getting a lot of push up there on the Jesuit defensive line, and it allows Keyron Smith to be able to just walk unobstructed into the end zone.
And they take 4 minutes and 21 seconds off the third quarter clock. as Noel Mora tries to make it 20-0. It is up and good. And with 7 minutes and 39 seconds to play here in the third quarter, Holy Cross 20, Jesuit nothing.
Great blocking by that offensive line. Again, you got a good look at it. You saw the kick out block, and you saw the guard pull and wrap up inside, and that allows Kieran Smith to walk in for the third touchdown of the evening for Holy Cross.
Tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Rhino Shield Mid-South. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Rhino Shield resists chipping, cracking, flaking, or peeling, and is backed by a 25-year warranty. Get your free estimate. Visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com. Long one now, but you can get it, folks. rhinoshieldmidsouth.com. All one word. Or call 833-233-7181. That's one of those numbers that's easy to remember. 833-233-7181. Rhino Shield, Mid-South, thank you for sponsoring and bringing to our great fan base the third quarter of tonight's game. So Barber and LaBeouf back deep again. Tigers now lead by 3 scores, 20-0. One missed extra point after the first touchdown came after a 5-yard penalty for illegal substitution. And Noel Mora, who's been putting them right to the goal line, sends this one as a line drive, and this one will hit dead in the end zone.
You know, I always say when a kicker can put that ball in the end zone in a high school game and that ball's coming out to the 20, boy, that does something positive for that defense with 80 yards to their back, right? I mean, it's such a nice thing to have, and it's such a weapon for a high school football team.
Yeah.
I equated it to that hidden yardage, right? That is always hidden in a football game that you hear a lot of coaches talk about these days. I think it's hidden yardage when they can kick the ball in the end zone.
Oh, you know, normally your best players are going to be back there, and your speediest and fastest runners who can make something happen as good athletes. And if you can take the ball out of their hand on that play, is that a backward lateral?
That's a lateral. That is a lateral.
It is. Holy Cross has got the football. Let's see they do. The officials just signaled backward lateral. They missed it, and Holy Cross gets the football deep in Jesuit territory on that little incomplete. Watch it again.
Yeah, I don't even need to talk on this one.
Yeah.
Hits them right in the hands and right in the pads and bounces off, guys. That's just kind of, that's kind of been the way things have been going all night for the Blue Jays. They just can't get a handle on things. Balls bouncing around like that and coming off, and now the Holy Cross Tigers are set up again in a 20-0 football game.
Wow.
I mean, there's nobody that, nobody feels worse than that than Patrick Berrigan.
Oh, no,
so you
absolutely.
feel for the young man, but you got to catch that
him.
football. Yeah, you got to catch that football.
And you know what it looked like? It looked like, man, I got this ball and I see a little bit of space, and he turned his head and was thinking, go, run, forward first, but he didn't secure the ball first. So Caden Ando with a run right up the middle gets it down near the 10-yard line. So it'll be a gain of, let's see where they mark it, about 6 if they mark it to the 9.
Look at the kick-out block right there by number 55 from Holy Cross. Colin Wenzel gets a great kick-out block from his guard position. I love to see great offensive line play.
This is a well-balanced offense for Holy Cross. Look, they can run, they can pass. Everybody's doing their part. When they've got to set up the pass to use the run, they do. Here's the handoff again. This is Caden Ando, nowhere to go. Fights hard to get back to the line of scrimmage and does. May have lost a half yard on the play.
Yeah, he runs into a group of Blue Jays right there, led by number 40, the tackle leader of the Jays, Tucker Scheibler. Scheibler, like I said, man, I tell you what, he's got a great future in front of him. It might not be in football, but he's going to be one of those guys that we'll read about doing something great, I'm sure, academically down the road, as you will from all of these players that are on the field tonight from both schools.
National Merit Scholarship semifinalist, one of 20 from Jesuit. He's the athlete on that list. Here's the toss left side, caught by Derek Johnson. He's been rather quiet tonight. He'll lose yardage, and that'll bring up 4th down and a possible field goal opportunity for Noel Mora. Let's see. How slow to get up is Derek Johnson, the 6'4", 204-pound junior wide receiver. Came in with 288 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it looks like he's walking on a left leg that's a little ginger, whether it's the ankle or the knee. You really can't tell. Wyatt Meyer came in. He was the leader of the group that came in for Jesuit to make that tackle on the tight end, Derek Johnson.
Canatella, good numbers handed to us from Lenny Van Gilder. 11 for 11, 125 yards and a score. He had that kind of a night against St. Aug earlier. So Mora is going to try this one. It'll be put down at the 18-yard line, a 28-yard field goal attempt, and it is good by Noel Mora. And the Tigers up their lead to 23-0.
Well, when you score points off of turnovers, Holy Cross has done that all year. They're plus in the turnover ratio all year long, but the thing about being a plus in a turnover ratio is you've got to come away with points off of turnovers, and they have done that all year. And when you're doing that, you're going to win some football games.
You know, on the pregame show, you and I talked about how hard it is to win 6 in a row. No one has ever done that in this series for the last 90 years. Now, there's been some 5-game winning streaks.
I think I had a 5-game win streak.
You did, and Jesuit is currently on a 5-game win streak. And look,
I'm surprised y'all hadn't pulled up that video. I was waiting for that video to show up tonight.
They say that the film was starting to disintegrate. So it was we're sent it to a lab to actually see if we can save the film. They're taking the ashes and see if they can have the.
Yeah, I was trying to ice the kicker that night. I took every timeout I could find. Right? Timeout, 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 timeout. Oh, you don't have any more. And he drills it for the win, man. What a great game that was that night.
Oh, another deep one by Noel Mora. So no chance for Derek LeBeuf, who was down near that football, to return. So Jesuit will have it after the touchback here in the third quarter. Just past the halfway mark of this third quarter.
And I can't remember who the kicker was from Holy Cross that night. After I iced him for the third time, he looked over at me and just smiled and shook his head. It was one of those great moments that you have with high school kids that's really fun, right?
Yes.
And he kicked it for the win in the last second. And I went over and I touched it, and I shook his hand. I said, good job.
1st and 10 from the 20. Bo Perez, this is a keeper. And he is just moving forward for about 2. Let's see what they mark it. They may give him just 1 to the 21-yard line on that. That'll bring up 2nd down and 9 for the Blue Jays. And this time the quick toss, but whistles first. Flag down, illegal procedure, Blue Jays.
Yeah, they're going to back it up. They're going to be behind the sticks again. When it rains, it pours, right? I mean.
And look, I bet they'll go back and practice this, but DeLestonye, we get a chance to, now I get the name right when I don't have to read
nice
it.
job.
So, yeah.
Pressure wasn't on,
yeah,
right?
Pressure's not on, DeLestonye, and I got your name right there. But he and Forsang were such good football players in their day. And not only here, but as we said, they went on to college careers, and then they went into, and just.
Well,
wow.
You know, Kenny, that's the thing. I'll let you make this call first. Go ahead.
All right, here's Bo Perez, and he is caught falling, throws, got his man. It's Frank Finnicle, and he is all the way past the 40-yard line, got the first down, and that's the kind of play right there the Blue Jays needed, just to spark a little life into this offense.
Yeah, great play by Perez. He's in the clutches of a defender from Holy Cross, and he finds his receiver across his body and throws a strike to Finnicle. Nice job. But you're talking about friends playing in this game. These guys tonight will all cross paths somewhere along the way. They will all return friends.
Absolutely. And then here's a run by Landon Garcia, who's been very quiet tonight, and he'll pick up a few right to the left side. You know, you're talking about Wayne Forsang, who played against Vic Umont, and Vic Umont was at Holy Cross. They played together at Tulane.
Yeah,
and Vic Umont was one of these guys snapping the ball and blocking, and Forsang is off to the best at Tulane. Sophomore season offensively for a Tulane quarterback in the history of the game. At that time, he just missed a wide open Gavin Palmazzano. The net might have been 6. He had been covering, but he had him beaten. If he could have turned on the speed after that, he may have gone.
Yeah, that Jesuits using a little halfback motion out of the backfield to try to loosen up those linebackers to be able to come in behind them, and they had the receiver wide open, like you said. I think that was Palmazzano, and the ball was just a little bit overthrown. I like the idea. I like the scheme. It's the way to move people around like chess players on a board, and that's what Jesuit was trying to do. But then you got to connect on that pass. He would have caught that pass. He'd have walked into the end zone.
3rd down and 7 from the Jesuit 48. Let's see if they go back to that play right here or something similar. Low snap, picked up well. Oh, a lot of spot, a lot of place to run. Perez has got the 1st down, and he is across the 50 and all the way down to the Holy Cross 40-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 39. A 13-yard gain.
Right, he looked to set up the screen. You'll see on the replay right here to your right, trying to set up a screen right here, but it is covered. He was trying to set it up to his tight end, Frank Fennekel, again, and it was covered, and he took off.
Hand off to Garcia, left side of the line. He'll get 1.
And I pronounced Frank's name wrong. It's Fennekel. Sorry about that, Frank.
Hey, after I messed up this line, well,
there you go.
The name I messed up the first time. Got it right a few moments ago, though. And that makes me feel bad because I do know the family, and there was usually a Deslandier playing at Holy Cross most of the time I was there, I believe, or if not, right after or right before. Right side, they go that time to Landon Garcia, and he got back to the line of scrimmage by catching that short pass. So now it's 3rd down, and they actually lose a yard on the play. So 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, Landon Garcia, the other senior running back there with Berrigan. He comes in with 2 touchdowns on the year. His average 3.8 yards, 384 yards on 100 carries.
Joseph Barber, defensive back and kick returner. Little razzle-dazzle here. He throws it on the ground. It's picked up, but that's a forward pass, so it's going to be incomplete.
That's the second trick play we've seen that the Jays have tried tonight, and it just didn't work out. We have seen them set this up previous.
That's the backward.
Right, there's the backward pass.
That's the forward.
And then that's the forward right there, and it just hit the ground and just didn't work out. But we've seen the Jays try to set that up tonight. We saw it hit Berrigan right in the shoulder pads, and they come back to it.
Look, I love the call.
Just can't execute it.
You're trying to get something going, anything cranked up to just keep that spark going on this drive. They're going for it here on 4th down, 4th and 11 at the 40-yard line. Got to get to the Holy Cross 39. There's the throw, almost intercepted. Popped up in the air, almost intercepted twice, and that's going to do it. Jesuit will turn it over on downs. Well, we got a final score for you. John Curtis defeats Brother Martin 26-7, and J.T. Curtis picks up win number 621 and ties the great South Carolina John McKissick for the most wins in high school football in the United States of America. Well, that means next week at Edna Carr, he could become the winningest coach. John McKissick has passed away. Yeah. It's the late John McKissick, but a heck of a football coach in South Carolina.
Yeah, if you talk to JT tonight, he won't want to talk much about it.
He won't. He's played it down. He said it's not about him. It's about the kids. It's all the team. It's all the players who won those games for him. He says, I didn't go out and play. He says, man, it's I coach them. They go out and play the game. And that's what makes it happen. So a run by Claude Johnson in the backfield on 1st down for the Tigers.
Yeah, Matrenga does a nice job stepping up from his linebacker position to make the tackle there.
Claude Johnson remains in the backfield as the running back. He'll get the handoff again. Tigers looking like they want to run some clock. He's caught in the backfield and somehow breaks the tackle, breaks another, and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. My goodness, how did Claude do that? He broke the first one of Wyatt Meyer, and I'm not sure who had him that second time.
Well, look, that's good defense. They just didn't finish, right? They fit everywhere perfectly. There's the fit.
That's
Meyer fits right off of the end right there. Everything's plugged up. That's great defense, but you got to finish. And they didn't finish. Wyatt Meyer just couldn't wrap up the running back.
Wyatt's got to be saying, Midlick, I held him, I slowed him up, I was waiting for the cavalry.
You got to finish the play. You got to make the tackle. It isn't over till it's over, right? You got to tackle.
They're down 8 for the Tigers. Got to tell it to throw, and it's caught. He's got the first down on the far side, and that'll move the chains and keep the ball in Holy Cross's hands, caught by Cross Johnson.
Yeah, Cross Johnson does a nice job running that out, that speed out again. Great job on the play-action pass. Let's see.
No, he didn't get that. I thought he got it over there. They're calling it out of bounds.
They called him out of bounds.
Did not see it.
Yep, we couldn't see it from up here.
Hey, it was a heck of a catch. I'll give him that, but he didn't get the feed in, so Holy Cross will have to punt it away, and that's going to give Jesuit some life here in the final minute of the third quarter. Holy Cross leading at 23-0, but the Jesuit offense had some spark, and if they can, and missed a wide-open receiver, which would have been a score. Big rush. But it's picked up, and Tigers get the punt. It's going to be another short punt by Holy Cross and freshman punter Joseph Carapina. So Jesuit will have some good field position at their own 45-yard line here in the final minute of the third quarter, trailing 23-0.
Yeah, that's a good stop for the Jesuit defense. They did a nice job getting off the field right there. They forced the punt. Weak punt, doesn't get the roll that it wanted to be, so Jesuit is in business at pretty decent field position.
By the way, that was the first incomplete pass for Canatella. He's now 11 of 12, and actually he threw it complete. Just Cross Johnson couldn't get the feet inbounds. Bo Perez will roll to the right. He can run it if he wants. He'll dump it instead to Landon Garcia. He's got some room to run and may have another first down. It'll be very close. Let's see where they mark him out of bounds. If it's right at the 45-yard line, it'll be a first down.
Everything's covered downfield. They're running at least 4 vertical. One of the vertical routes are broken off. So what does he do? He checks it down over here to Garcia. Picks up a few yards.
Got a score to give you in just a moment. This is a first down at the Holy Cross 45 and whistles. We'll have procedure against the Blue Jays. Let's take a look at that score. Third quarter.
Third quarter. Rummel 24, Carr 20. My goodness.
Wow.
The Catholic League.
Wow. Now, this is one of those crazy questions, but I'll ask it anyway. If you're J.T. Curtis and you could win the whole thing next week, you become the winningest coach, you'd have to do it at Carr. As Curtis goes to Carr, would you rather Carr come off a win or come off an upset loss?
It's an opponent. You're going to get ready to play no matter who, whether they come off a win or they come off a loss, so it doesn't matter. And if you're talking to JT says we're going to do our due diligence. We get ready to play a football game, right? Gets his kids ready.
Gotcha. I knew that was going to be the answer, but it sounds
it is.
so good
But it's the answer. You don't worry about that.
Right after 3, Holy Cross leads Jesuit 23-0. Back with the fourth quarter in a second. By the way, I also want to thank Rhino Shield Mid-South for sponsoring the third quarter. Our fourth quarter will be brought to you by Lamorque Motor Company. They brought us the first. They'll bring us the fourth. Ronnie starts it. Ronnie finishes it. By the way, Crescent City Sports has more high school football coverage for you tomorrow night here at Tad Gormley as St. Augustine and De La Salle meet in a non-district game. Our coverage begins at 6:45. Visit CrescentCitySports.com for the latest live streaming schedules. And by the way, it's always free, folks, on Crescent City Sports. Always.
Yeah, free's a good word.
Free is very good. All right, we start the fourth quarter. Ball right at the midfield stripe. Jesuit. First down. They're going to throw it complete, and the Jesuit Blue Jays have found the way to spread this field, use it to the sidelines, take it to the middle of the field, and they're finding some success.
Hey, that's a nice ball by Bo Perez. He stuck it right in there between 2 defenders to Kyle Collins. Watch the protection here. We didn't get to see the end of it, but I tell you, it was a great pass.
That's Lowry right there, Roman Lowry, and he makes the reception here. But the Blue Jays picking up the pace a little bit. They're using a little tempo of their own, Wade.
Well, they're going to have to do something. They want to get in the end zone, so they're going to have to kind of push the envelope a little bit and start spreading it around and start doing it vertically down the field like they just did a minute ago with Collins.
From the 30-yard line, Bo Perez with the pump fake. Now the throw incomplete. Closest person to that one was Tiger defender Joshua Brown. And boy, look out, if he ever picks one, he can run.
That was a miscommunication. Yeah. They pumped the fake to the screen, and then they were looking for Roman Lowry to go vertical, and somewhere there's a mix-up. See, right there, he was supposed to fake the block and continue vertical off of that. Holy Cross had it nicely covered with the safety across the top of the anticipated vertical.
Palmisano and Lowry, along with Calvin McGee up to the right side of your screen. He's looking that way, in trouble, and Bo Perez sacked. He is dropped. And I believe that was for Sebastian Perez, a freshman.
He just got the play of the night for a freshman, right? He came off the Jesuit left side, beat the tackle with a nice move. He gets home, and a freshman right there gets a statistic.
Hey, one of 30 freshmen on this Holy Cross football team. There's 19 sophomores, 25 juniors, and they're going to lose 15 seniors. Now, the seniors are good. They're all some pretty stud players, but you can tell that there's a building program that's taking place with Holy Cross football, which is very important because they still have a 4A enrollment. Here's a long pass by Perez, and it's close but incomplete. Nice try down there to Galvin Palmisano.
Yeah, safety came over. It ended up being a double coverage situation. Corner running with Palmisano, the safety getting across the top. You'll see it here on the replay over on the left-hand top of your screen. Perez does a nice job evading the rush.
He really did.
And here comes the safety right there. He was a little under it for my liking. If he'd have been a little over the top, he might have had a little bit better pick. I thought his angle was a little weak. You got to go and try to stay on top of the route.
Good reach by Kobe Young, trying to get a hand on it, too. He plays both ways, offensively and defensively, for the Holy Cross Tigers. Tigers have it now after taking it over. 1st and 10, nothing doing on the left side. Holy Cross would like to run some clock, and Jesuit saying, nope, we're going to make you throw that football. Blue Jays have found a way to open it up. They just haven't found a way to get it in the end zone. They haven't seen the fruits of the labor yet.
Well, Holy Cross takes it over on downs, right? On just previous. That you need to talk about that as a turnover. You know, there's a fumble, there's an interception, but one of the stats people don't talk about a lot is coaches keep the stat of did we get the ball over on a turnover on downs. That goes down in a statistical category for coaches as being a turnover.
Big rush. Canatella steps up. He throws complete to Young. Kobe Young's got it, and he's got the first down past the 50, down to the 48-yard line. Picked it up by 2 yards. The Tigers move the chains, keep possession of the football. Clock continues to be a friend for the Holy Cross Tigers here.
Yeah, Kobe Young sits down in a curl route right there. Missed tackle, runs out of the arms of number 18, Will Holmes, picks up the first down.
9:08, 9:07. We probably need to talk a little bit more because remember, Jesuit was trying to stay or get in the victory column because they want to get that first, or they want to be in the playoffs. It's one of those 16 teams, and Holy Cross trying to get that bye with possibly a win here today. Key Ryan Smith nowhere to go. They're going to push him back there, but the clock continues to run. So if this score would hold, how does that affect both of the teams, Wade?
Well, you're going to have to see what happens tomorrow because you got to look around at the rest of the schedule because of the way the percentage comes in off of wins off of your opponents, right? So everything would have to be added up, and then tomorrow see where you would be on that that power rating system, right? It doesn't help, right?
No,
it doesn't help, but it might not hurt you.
Fake to Key Ryan, and the throw, and it is complete and caught by Derek Johnson. So he had limped off a little earlier with what looked like to be maybe a cramp. He's okay.
But just to expand on that, at this stage of the game, there's a good look at it again, right? Jesuit sitting at 15, top 16 get 9 through 16 get a home game. So, you know, the deal is it doesn't help you. But then again, what goes on with the rest of those guys, 9 through 16? We don't know all the scores coming in. We've got a score from Rummel for sure.
And
We got
John
a score
Curtis.
from Curtis for sure.
Right.
We don't know what's going on with Bird, Acadiana, McKinley, etc.
Well, the Tigers and Ryan Smith, they just give it to him on third down, and he moves the chains and keeps the clock moving for the Tigers with less than 7.5 to go in this ball game. Holy Cross leading it 23-0.
But I will say this, Ken, that right now is the farthest from the minds of the Jesuit coaching staff, right? They just want to get a win. They want to get right, right? So they're not worried about, you know, sure, going in, they might have glanced at that, but coming out, they're just worried about getting themselves right. So when they do get the opportunity to get in those playoffs, wherever they are on the bracket, no matter whether they're home or away, they want to be able to have a good showing. And then they've got a game next week against a real good Rummel team.
Oh, yes, they do. Legal procedure, Holy Cross going to move it back a little bit, and that'll stop the clock right at the 7-minute mark to go in this one. And, you know, if you're not one of those 16 teams, or that first playoff game, if you've got to take a bus somewhere,
You take a
trip
bus.
somewhere. Yeah, you take the bus, and
You take the
and you're
bus.
happy to be there, but
Exactly.
you'd rather be playing right here.
You just don't want it to be a school bus, right? To some place like West Monroe, which we've done before. I don't want to do that.
And you never wanted to go up the day before. You always wanted to go up day up
Oh,
when
yeah.
you were coaching, right?
Yeah, I love Don Shouts. I just didn't want to go see him.
The toss by Canatella right through the hands of Finn Martin.
Hey, Finn Martin's a nice receiver. I tell you what, he had a nice game last week against Carr. We didn't get to see any of his electricity tonight in his kickoff returns or in his punt returns.
Y'all
Right?
saw one last week.
Right, we saw one last week. He's got a lot of zip, a lot of speed. He's got good hands. He's a fine football player.
You know, Finn Martin is the 5th guy that runs when needed on the 4x100 relay state championship team. They've won state twice. And Derek Johnson, number 15, is one of the guys on it, along with Ryan Smith, Colby Young, and on the defensive side, one guy, and Cole Canatella. Ooh, that was coming close. Got to watch Canatella getting down there, because a couple of hits like that can take a little bit out of you.
Yeah, Zyron Forstall gets home, the freshman defensive lineman. He got home that time for that sack. Didn't you anchor your 4x100 team your senior year?
If it was the wheelbarrow 4x100. Let's be honest.
You know I was going to get a dig in on you. I got to get my one dig in on you each game.
Hey, the only speed I had was when somebody said there's chocolate in the refrigerator.
There you go.
Ryan Smith around the left side. They stop him at the 35-yard line, pushing back. Tigers facing 4th down and 2.
Yeah, they're in no man's territory right now. Look for them to go for it here. I would think this would be their 4-down territory.
Yeah, got to be. You're too far back for the field goal, and your punt, you've only been getting 11 to 20-yard punts, so you might as well go for it here. Clock's working for you.
Your defense is playing well, so, you know.
Defense has been playing well, and again, when you've got Canatella and the wideouts that you have with Colby Young, let's see what he does. That time, throws. Colby Young looking. Colby Young grabs it. Does he hold it? Yes, he does, and that's a big catch all the way down to the 10-yard line by Colby Young, and that's another 1st down for the Tigers.
Yeah, Colby Young sat right in between the corner and the safety. Let's see if you can see it on the wheel route right here. You're coming from the 3rd receiver position, and the corner was just under the ball, the safety just over the top. Ball's thrown in the nice position by Canatella. Colby Young goes up and makes a great play.
1st and goal for Holy Cross. Look for him to run it maybe a few times here. Just take more time off the clock. Ryan Smith, the running back. Pressure coming. Ryan Smith going the other way against the pressure, and he'll just take a Jesuit Blue Jay with him into the end zone. Touchdown, 10-yard run, and the score by Keyron Smith.
Yeah, he just drug a guy into the end zone right there, and that's kind of the exclamation point on the evening for the Holy Cross Tigers.
Well, he got his 13th and 14th touchdowns in this game. 10-play, 60-yard drive. Took 6 minutes and 11 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, the highlight was the fourth down play, Ken.
Yeah, fourth down play, which was the long pass for a first down all the way down to the 10-yard line from Canatella to Kobe Young. And, man, that's just...
And that's a backbreaker on fourth down. And that's just a backbreaker. And then the next play, they walk you into the end zone.
An explosive Holy Cross football team. And talking with Coach Scott Watney during the week, he said, look, you know, I'm looking at the youth that we talked about just a few minutes ago. We're going to lose 15 great seniors. But he said, man, we've got 25 juniors ready to step up, 19 sophomores, and 30 freshmen.
We've got a Jesuit Blue Jay down, sitting right inside the end zone. Can't get a number.
I believe that's the player who...
Yeah, that's Derek LaBeouf.
And he was the one trying to bring Keyron Smith down and took the ride with him into the end zone. But he's okay, and good to see that.
He's up, and he's moving. Looked like he had a cramp.
Noel Mora to attempt the point after without be holding. High snap. Got it down. Kicked it up, and it's good. So with that, it is 30-0 Holy Cross with 4:06 to play in this one. The 104th meeting and the 102nd year of this one.
Yeah, there's another good look at Kieran Smith pulling the Jesuit defender Will Holmes into the end zone right there.
Keyron, just the way he runs, you know, he's got that 5'9", but 190-pound frame, and got that low center of gravity, Wade. And sometimes a guy like that who's just quick and can pop a hole, and he churns those legs and he pushes forward. It's like a little tank coming at you.
Well, Holy Cross has got to feel good about their running back room, right? With Smith, Claude Johnson, Ando, and then they got a freshman fullback, Carapina, that, you know, is a young guy too. So they've got to feel good about those guys coming back. They've got, you know, some younger guys behind them. So things are looking bright for that Holy Cross offense. What they have to do is they have to restock that wide receiver room. And, of course, with Cole Canatella, who's been the leader of that offense for the past 3 years, they're going to have to find a guy that's going to be able to pull the trigger.
Now this looks like it's going to Zachary Freelow. And boy, he gets hammered. Wow. Somebody took a hit. Wasn't Zachary that time that went down, but somebody threw a block for the Blue Jays, but the Holy Cross player popped right back up. They're still hitting hard, both sides.
Well, it's football game. I mean, you know, that's what you do in between the lines. You hit somebody. I mean, it's not a game for the weak of heart. So you're going to get popped. As you should. You either get popped or you give the pop, one of the two. So it's just the way it works.
Holy Cross last win over Jesuit by 30 or more points was back in 1948. 55-0. Holy Cross won it back then. And I'm pretty sure there was a guy named Joe Ernst on that team for Holy Cross. That was the year I was born, by the way. You weren't around to watch anything.
No.
That goes way back.
I was 3 years old in 1963. I was 8 years old in 1968. All those years we were talking about that night. I always told Vic Umont that and Barry, right?
You know, every year we do these games, it's in 1963, you keep getting younger. I don't understand that. Bo Perez.
I keep losing my hair. That's why.
Good throw that time, right? And caught at the 42-yard line. And dropped immediately, but real good throw that time. And that one was caught by Calvin McGee.
Yeah, Calvin McGee runs the square in. Bo Perez puts it right on the numbers. Great catch, great protection by the offensive line. That's the Bo Perez and the arm that he has. He can put it right through your chest.
Right now, Bo Perez and company would like very much to get a score on the board. He's going to throw it long down the right sideline, and the overthrows everybody out of bounds. That was intended for McGee again down the right sideline.
Running a go route over there, just can't get on top of the defender. The defender stride by stride in phase with him right there, and delivering the good coverage. McGee just couldn't get to the ball.
Well, Holy Cross has a non-district game to close it out against East St. John. And we talked about what Jesuit's got coming up.
Yeah, they've got Archbishop Rummel.
Never easy. Big pressure, and Perez goes down. Back at the 30.
Yeah, a lot of the Holy Cross green jerseys got to Perez right there. Let's see if we can take a look and get a few numbers here. Everything in white is going backwards. Everything is green is going forwards, and it was Meade at the ball.
It was Billy Eaton.
There you go. A lot of different jerseys. Yeah, a lot of different jerseys in there now for Holy Cross. Getting a chance to play. We saw a freshman a little while ago make a sack and get a statistic. Somebody's mamas up in the stands are real happy.
Listen, a lot of these guys, as you said on many broadcasts we've done together, work hard, and they get a chance to get in. Whether you're winning a lot or losing a lot means a lot to those kids. And there's the toss down.
Yeah, when you get a chance to get
Patrick Berrigan, I'm sorry.
Right, when you get the chance to get a lot of your kids on the field, it's happy times, right? And those kids are excited, but those parents are excited for them. That was Matthew Kakamo. There we go. I got it right.
We've had some fun with names tonight.
Right. I got it right. I apologized to him last week. I did not do a good job getting his name right. And
well, I got this landed. Well, I was about to say it, then I got it right. And love the family. So sorry that I struggled with the name tonight. Bo Perez will toss it over the middle, and he's got a man. Boy, what a hit Roman Lauray took after he caught that ball, but he held on to it. My goodness.
That was Matthew Kakamo lighting him up.
Wow.
Kakamo was a senior safety, 5'9", 162 pounds, came through and just lit Lauray up and dislodged the ball. It was a great pass.
Hey, if he could have held it, they would have moved the chains. He had the first down, but listen, with a hit like that, look at that. Pow, wow.
Pass right on the money.
Yep. A tough hit. Holy Cross takes over on downs. And they do it with 105 and should take a victory formation, kneel it out, and win this one 30-0. And the Holy Cross Tigers will up their record now to 7-2 on the year. Sets them up, hopefully, for them in the power ratings to stay in that top 8 and maybe get a bye. They're 4-2 in district, while the Jesuit Blue Jays will fall to 3-6 on the year. And 1-4 in 9-5A, District 9-5A.
Yeah, I mean, everybody will go back to the board tomorrow and they'll start grading that film and doing their corrections. Jesuit will do the same thing. Ryman Alley has one of the best staffs in the city. Those guys will get those guys coached back up again next week for a real good Rummel football team.
And look, don't go away, folks, because we're not signing off the air at the end of this game. There's alma maters. There is all kinds of things going on. There's some alma maters to be sung. There's fight songs. There's the golden football that's got to be awarded.
There's still a lot of event left.
Yes, so don't leave right now. We'll work up some more things to talk about and to give you on this one. But the biggest thing for both of these teams was to see how they might fare out in the overall standings. Holy Cross again. First shutout of Jesuit since 1976. First shutout of Jesuit since 1976. Carr has come back to take the lead over Rummel, 27-24 with 10:17 to play in the fourth quarter.
I told you, when Carr wants to put the pedal to the metal,
wow,
right? They'll just idle around in third gear. Then all of a sudden they'll decide to downshift it and take it to another level, right? So. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Again, Holy Cross last win over Jesuit by 30 or more points. That was 1948-51. 55-0 Holy Cross in 1948. And then Holy Cross last shutout of Jesuit was 1976. So, look, as you said, friends shaking hand with friends. You win, you're happy. You lose, you're not. But you know you're going to. Some of these guys will be playing together at Tulane, playing together at LSU, playing together at Nicholls, Southeastern, Northwestern. Some of these guys will just be going to college together. That's right.
Some of these guys will be roommates in a dorm and suite, right? They'll be sitting around. You know what college guys do, sitting around telling stories and talking about their days in the Catholic League when they played against each other in I think, the greatest rivalry in this country for high school.
Yeah, I do too. And look, Delantier still talks about that fumble he picked up and ran back against Jesuit in graduated 75, but sophomore year, I believe, is when he picked up that fumble and ran it all the way back for a touchdown. And even Scott Wadney talks about a big play he had in the Jesuit game, the Holy Cross Jesuit game, when he was part of the rivalry and series, and it means a lot to him. And he's got family that goes all the way back to 1949 with the great Lou Deutschman family. Lou Deutschman was his grandfather, was Scott Wadney's grandfather, and he's got two sons at Holy Cross now in kindergarten and pre-K. So at 11, 12 years from now, he hopes he's still coaching at Holy Cross, and they're playing for him, playing for Dad, and hopefully making good memories happen.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, his two sons are Segan and Beckham. And,
ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the center of the playing field for the post-game events to honor one of the nation's great prep rivalries. And please stay for immediately following for both teams' alma maters. The 2023 Great American Rivalry Series presented by the United States Marine Corps and the Holy Cross Jesuit Rivalry Game Committee would now like to honor tonight's most outstanding player.
people you see will identify them for
Tonight's
you.
most outstanding player, as selected by the working media, from Holy Cross, quarterback number 4, Cole Canatella.
Cole Canatella, Holy Cross quarterback. Most outstanding player for the Tigers. Each team gets an outstanding player. You see the person to the left, the person in green working for the series, but that's Mr. Kirkwood in the Holy Cross pullover sweater. And next to him in the blue shirt is David Morrow, the athletics director. Your two athletics directors at Holy Cross and Jesuit. David Morrow, blue shirt, Mr. Kirkwood in the white sweater with HC on it.
The Great American Rivalry Series, the United States Marines are proud to recognize the Holy Cross Tigers as the 2023 Great American Rivalry Series champion.
Well, if you're a Holy Cross Tiger, it's been a long time since that football has rested on what is now Paris Avenue. 5500 Paris Avenue. School rebuilt after Hurricane Katrina. Beautiful campus. And the Golden Football returns. Greater American Rivalry Series trophy returns.
The final award this evening is the presentation of the Golden Football. In 2006, the Golden Football Trophy was created to remain with the winning school until next year's ball game. At this time, Jesuit's athletic director, Mr. Dave Morrow, will present the Golden Football to Holy Cross athletic director, Mr. Kirkwood.
Mr. Kirkwood's working out. Look how easy he's handling that heavy football.
He's getting ready for basketball season.
On the 104th renewal of this great prep rivalry.
Also the basketball coach at Holy Cross. And yes, folks, if you're watching and you missed it earlier on, Holy Cross colors like Notre Dame, blue and gold, but like the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame. Notre Dame, founded by Father Basil Moreau, came down the Mississippi River and founded Holy Cross soon after that. The luck of the Irish is green, so even though Holy Cross is the Tigers, they follow the Notre Dame tradition and sometimes wear a little green. The alma mater for the Jesuit Blue Jays. The alma mater of the Jesuit Blue Jays. To be followed now by the alma mater for the Holy Cross Tigers. A tradition that existed not long ago, because they didn't have it when I was at Holy Cross, is the Tigers, after a win, return back to campus and they have a victory bell and they ring the bell. Holy Cross Tigers alma mater. The alma mater of the Holy Cross Tigers as the Tigers defeated Jesuit tonight 30-0. Wade Kaiser, your final comments on tonight's big rivalry game.
Well, it was a beautiful event again put on by both schools. The pageantry and everything was just outstanding. Holy Cross is a fine football team. They stay in competition for obviously winning 9-5A, the Catholic League. Jesuits got to go back to the board. They're looking for anything that they can possibly do to get back onto the right track. I have no doubt that they will. It's going to be a great week 10 next week. Jesuit
and Rummel and Holy Cross in a non-district game against East St. John. That's going to wrap it up from here. You know, I want to thank again Lenny Van Gilder for doing stats and producing tonight's game. Our director was Matt Merritt. Our cameras are Josh Allen. Camera people are Josh Allen and Marco Barama. And Wade, and I'll tell you, I just enjoyed this one.
Yeah, buddy, it was a great one again to be able to come back and like we do every year and get this great rivalry.
Thanks for joining us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Crescent City Sports has more high school football coverage for you tomorrow night right here at Tad Gormley as St. Augustine and De La Salle meet in a non-district game. Our coverage begins at 6:45. Visit CrescentCitySports.com for the latest in live streaming and schedules. For Wade Kaiser and our entire Crescent City Sports crew, I'm Ken Berthelot saying so long from New Orleans. Once again, your final score, Holy Cross 30. Jesuit nothing. From City Park, New Orleans. Good night, everybody.